self perfected.
Let's go! Come and get the news, get some common sense too. Breaking through the filter that's been clouding the view. Step out the algorithm, take back control. No bias, no opinion, just pure gold. Tune in, wake up, it's time to reflect. What's best for all is what we dissect. No spins, no games, just the truth in your ear. Self-perfected, making things clear. So if you're ready to see and you're ready to choose, come and get the news with the common sense view. Self-perfected, making things clear.
Whoa.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Oh, there we go.
All
Hold on.
right.
Give me a second. I just gotta plug in this shitty mic here.
Just don't bump it.
Can you hear me?
Just don't bump it.
There's Mitch.
There he was. What's Mitch,
Mitch
doing
is
at
getting
your
his.
house?
I'm going to my underground bunker.
Yeah. What's Mitch doing at his house? He said he's heading to his underground bunker, so don't worry.
Okay. All right.
All right. What's up?
Dude, what are you doing over there? What's going on?
I just came to use this mic.
Cam's just doing a mic check over there. Just
Just showed up. I just needed to see if it was really an issue.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's an issue right now, but I don't know. It's only me and you, so
The mute button says it's on red.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
No, it just stays red when it's muted. When it's unmuted.
Okay.
Great design.
When you first came on, I literally had no idea what was going on with your face.
I'll show everybody what was happening here. I turn on the computer. I get on here, and this is all I see. Of course, it wasn't that face. It was a different one.
What face is this?
It was Luke Skywalker's face. I think Max was messing around with the camera setting, and I could not figure out until you hit live, and then I looked and I found the camera settings.
Yeah,
like,
it was,
what the hell?
it was Luke Skywalker's face, but I thought it was Hunter Biden.
Yeah, it was like Luke Skywalker on crack after a night of binging at the Motel 6.
I had no idea how much Hunter Biden looks like Luke Skywalker had a rough day, But nice. So, how's your weekend?
Mitch is getting set up. I can see him in the preview.
Yeah, he's out
Dude,
there.
so what's going
on? I don't know. I saw a few things that I thought were like kind of interesting.
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff. I'm gonna go shut this door real quick because.
All right, go ahead. You shut that door.
Be right back.
You shut that door, and while you're doing that, I'll pull some stuff up. Haha! Nobody's here to stop me from pulling stuff. Oh, hey there, Mitchell.
I'm here to stop you. Look
You're
out,
here to
everyone.
stop me. You can't stop me.
Stop this man. Look okay. Like, am I super blurry?
Yeah. 100% super blurry. Can't
Yeah.
even tell.
Turn your
that
Wi-Fi off.
Yeah, maybe turn off your Wi-Fi.
Because
Didn't you
sometimes I
connect-
forget to do that because I'll do like the hard
You connected to the Ethernet, right?
I'll
Turn
do
off
like the hard
Wi-Fi.
connection, but I forget to turn
No,
the
because
Wi-Fi.
that fucking cord is in the house.
Oh, so you're not connected to the Ethernet?
No, I'm not. It will take me an extra 10 minutes, but I'll do it.
He-
Super blur even says Emmy. Okay.
Wait,
Even
did you need
as
that
if-
adapter?
Yeah, I need the adapter.
He came in here and
You
got
need
the
a
Cat
USB
5 cable and then like
to
left,
USB-C,
and I was like,
though. I didn't realize you were using the mic,
oh, but look, I could use
but I
this.
do
for
have
the
a.
mic.
Great.
Oh, there you go.
So
yeah.
I could do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
There you
yeah,
go.
I'll come back. That way you can.
we've
see
got
my
solutions, guys.
All right, guys, we're gonna end the stream and then we're gonna restart in about 20 minutes. I might as well do this real quick so he can have the thing when he comes in. Give me a second. I gotta give him the adapter.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll just play some videos while you're doing that. So yeah, Cam really just went down there to do some technical help for Mitch. He's not been able to figure it out over these last however many years we've been doing this for, 5 years.
So I told him he could come get it because I can use this, right?
Yeah.
This is HDMI. This is not USB. But you know what?
You'll figure it out.
Get this fucking mic out of here.
Okay.
I'm just gonna use my laptop mic, guys.
Okay. All right. That works. Aaliyah reposted the stream. 5 weeks for Aaliyah. 5 weeks for Aaliyah. Nice. Okay. Let me share this thing. Check this out, guys. I saw this and I was like, exactly. Look at
What are we
this.
talking?
I'm talking about this. I know comparing modern society to Idiocracy is really played out, but man, this morning at the White House, they've got the what do you call this? Nitro Circus. Literally the fucking circus on the White House lawn.
What the hell, dude?
Right? Like
Like,
it's
what is the point of that?
I don't know. I don't get it.
It's super weird.
Isn't it?
They're
It's
like, you know, that whole bread and circuses. I think there's something to that.
I think, yeah. I wonder why
Who
they
is
say
it?
that.
It just seems like at this point, why even do any propaganda? I don't think anybody gives a shit, anyways. Like, just it's weird.
I think it's just the distraction. I don't know. It's just like
But who is it distract? I mean, it's distracting us right now.
I'm distracted.
It was distracting. That was the point. It was to distract us.
What are we supposed to be distracted from? I think okay. Here's what
And
it feels
is it
like.
distracting us from that? Like,
No.
there's a war in Iran, and like, we don't want anybody to know. Let's do Nitro Circus at the White House, and like, we're like, oh, what war? What are you talking about, huh? I was just so captivated by the Nitro Circus.
But I think it's more like, okay, you have the miasma, right? Okay, first of all, here's what it is. Here's what it is, Cam. Because I was thinking, maybe they're not distracting us from a war. Maybe they're distracting us from, things that they're putting in Congress, like all these bills and shit, right?
Would anybody be paying attention anyways?
To the bills in Congress? No.
And like, is the news gonna be like, oh, can't talk about that because we have to talk about the Nitro Circus now? Like, it just seems like a weird way to try to. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? I don't see it actually doing anything other than us talking about it right now. Like, does anyone even know?
I think the bills in Congress are already like a layer of like, there's just so much going on because they make it like 100 or 1,000 pages, literally, and they release those 1,000 pages 2 days before the bill is supposed to be voted on, and they're like, read through this, and everybody agree. This is, I'll tell you what's in it.
They're distracting the Congress people from reading the bill. They're like, hey, we got to pass this bill in 2 days, Congressman. You got to read through it. And he's like, hey, I got to get to the Nitro Circus. Hold on. The Nitro Circus is only in town for one night.
That's it. Aaliyah says she doesn't know what's going on because her feed is covered in World Cup and NBA.
That sounds like a personal algorithm problem.
Yeah.
Dude, I held some stuff back from you this past few days because
I could tell. I didn't get any fucking text from you.
Yeah, but I was researching, as they say.
You were
I think
researching? Well, show me what you
watching
were researching.
YouTube videos.
Show me. What, like, oh, okay.
Well,
like
here's how I
3 hour
research.
long.
This is what I watch YouTube videos and I think about it. And I call that research.
You think about
But I'll tell you this real quick. This is just interesting. Mitch is coming. He's just sorting out his blurry Wi-Fi.
Hey, yeah,
Perfect.
I think I got it.
You got it, Mitch. You did it.
Let's go. Now Cameron's blurry. you can't have it all.
Did you turn off my
Me
Wi-Fi,
being
Mitch?
blurry should be an indication that you didn't get it. You didn't got it.
Mitch. Mitch.
Yeah.
Did you turn off your Wi-Fi?
No. I plugged in the Ethernet. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really bad?
No,
Mitch
but
is
you
the
have to
only
turn off
person
your
who has
Wi-Fi on
blurry
your-
Ethernet.
On your laptop.
Yeah, you have to turn it off. Otherwise, it's still trying to use the Wi-Fi.
Why does Mitch
Mitch-
look like he doesn't know
Mitch
how
has
to
low
turn
speed
off the
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi?
He does. This is a character he plays. All right, check this out.
He's frozen. He's gone. He's gone.
I don't know.
This is the most fun. You're
That's
back.
as good as it's gonna
I'm
get.
gone and resurrected. Now I'm definitely on Wi-Fi or on Ethernet.
Okay, all right. Well,
Is
it's
it
still
better?
blurry. No.
Fuck. I think we just have our house overloaded on Wi-Fi right now. So
It's all good. It's all good. Max is maxing out the Wi-Fi. That's what's happening.
He's still asleep.
Even
not
in his
nice.
sleep, he's maxing out the Wi-Fi.
He's like switching all the settings so he can do VidMage. So check this out. So I've been reading this
Yeah.
book, right?
A song called Youth.
Youth.
Is that what
It's
it
a
is?
trilogy. Yeah, it's a trilogy.
Okay.
The first book is called Eclipse. Anyways, it's all about eclipse in the name of each one. But
I know that one. Twilight.
you got me. I just changed the cover. Twilight is about that thick. But check out the little thing at the top.
John Shirley. I
No.
can't read it. It's too fucking blurry. I
Didn't you get the normal
cannot fucking
camera?
read it. Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's Patient Zero. Oh. William Gibson. Oh.
So
Okay. So this came out before Cyberpunk?
he's like the proto cyberpunk.
Mitch, I can see you so fucking clearly
Yeah,
now.
you're looking good now.
You look sexy. Wow.
well, Cameron
the
still
best.
looks blurry as fuck.
I didn't know
so-
this is what you look like. My whole
This
perception
is
of
like
you
better than
has just
real
been
life.
grains.
I always just thought Mitch was like 8-bit.
I thought so too. I thought he was just grainy like that. I thought that's what you look like. I didn't know you looked like this.
What can I say, guys?
So okay.
So
This book is from before all the other cyberpunk stuff.
it was written in 1985.
Wow. Okay.
So I think Neuromancer was 84, but this guy also probably wrote other things. But he's kind of like, I don't know if I'm using it. I don't know if I'm totally accurate in this, but I think he was like a mentor-ish to William Gibson, from what I can tell. That's how Katie found this.
Oh.
So she's been like going into like, because I've never like I've looked up so many times like what are the best sci-fi, cyberpunk, all this stuff, but I've never heard about this. Or maybe I did and I just overlooked it. But anyway, so I've been reading it and it's really good.
Did you read the one before it?
What?
Or you just jumped into that one?
He's gonna read that one next.
What are you talking about?
You said this was the sequel to Eclipse.
No. The first one is called Eclipse. The Song of Called Youth is like the name of the trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's 3 books in here.
Okay, gotcha.
In that
And
in
so-
that one book, there's 3 books in that book, like Dune, or
Yeah, it's called like Eclipse, Eclipse Penumbra, and Eclipse Corona.
ooh,
Okay.
ooh.
But they're all called A Song Called Youth, I guess. Anyway, I don't know anything about it. I just started reading it because she got it in the mail, and I saw it said William Gibson Cyberpunk Patient Zero, and I was like, I'm reading it. And then she was like,
I'm
"But I
reading it.
Ordered that
She's
from
like,
my
that's my
son."
book. And you're like,
Yeah, I was like, see you later.
I'm driving.
And then I went to
I'm
the
outta
bookshelf. I was
here.
like, oh, Katie, you haven't read this. You should read this. And she was like, okay. But anyways, but there's a reason I'm telling you about it. I'm 80 pages in, and I'm reading it last night. Okay.
Hey. Listen, I know you don't care if books are
Yeah.
spoiled, but don't fucking
it's not-
spoil
I'm not
it
gonna spoil it,
for me.
no.
Don't do that.
It's called The Taste of Your Own Medicine, Drake.
No, I never fucking spoil the books. It's always Cameron, and I get blamed for it. I don't know what it says, Cam. I can't read any of that shit. Can you just read it to me?
No,
Please.
I need to show you something.
Oh,
Yeah, you need to see it
I
in all the
can't.
blurriness.
I
It's
can't.
worth it.
I can't. I'm not sure what you're showing me. I'm really not sure. I cannot read it. It is too blurry. I still cannot.
I can read
see-
it. I can read it. It says as iPad something.
iPad trance fantasy.
Really?
I'll just read this paragraph. While the middle class buffer was shrinking to insignificance, there were still enclaves in the United States where you could get lost in the media churn, hypnotized by the flashcards of desire into an iPad trance fantasy of the American dream, as 10,000 companies vied for your attention, nagging you to keep buying and buying.
So hold on.
And he spells it little lowercase I, uppercase P,
Hold
iPad.
on. You're telling me this faggot didn't even come up with the iPad?
Dude, but the thing is, because I was like, hold on. Because if you look at the copyright in here, it's 2012. But I think that's just when they put it all as like one edition, as one whole trilogy. So I was like, maybe I'm just wrong about when it was written. I went and looked, and I'm like, no, it's 1985. And I'm searching, like, did he coin the term? And they're like, yeah, people might, maybe somebody else used it too, but there's no other references to the word iPad. And I was like, did it influence Steve Jobs? And they were like, well, there's no clear connection there, because the first I thing was the iMac, and then the iPod, and then the iPhone, and then the iPad. So I'm not saying that there's a conspiracy of, something like that. It's just more like, what the fuck? And then he keeps using the word Wi-Fi.
Hold on.
He calls them like Wi-Fi dancers and Wi-Fi something, and it's clearly referring to some technology, but he's not really. You know how Cyberpunk is, where it doesn't necessarily always tell you what it is. It's just using the word like you should know what it is because it's in the world. And he used the word web, like with a capital W, and I'm like, what?
Dude.
So
Dude.
I'm like, definitely either these people have read this stuff and they're like subconsciously using those words. Because I looked up when was Wi-Fi coined, and it was like 1999. I'm like,
this is 1985.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just so, again, it's just another example where you're like,
okay, so
are we just living in a book, or
either Steve Jobs clearly read this thing and didn't tell us, or here's my other theory, because you know how they say the internet is not actually for the average person's benefit, right?
Yeah.
The internet it does connect all the computers, right? It does connect the world, but then you're also putting all your information on the internet, right?
Mhm.
And that really helps whoever's trying to surveil all the information.
Mhm.
So what if this was actually like a giant psyop from 1985, and they got all this stuff from this book?
This
and
is
they're
my
like,
theory. I told Cameron.
What?
I think DARPA was hanging out,
yeah.
and we're like, okay, what's the thing? iPad? Hell yeah.
Well, think about
Make
it
sure
though.
Steve Jobs gets the memo in 25 years.
Forget Steve Jobs for a second. Like, who are the type of people who are programming computers and developing computer technologies and
Nerds.
yeah,
Just
like
like-
people
just like
who
this book
read this
says.
kind of stuff, right?
Can you
You're reading
read
that
it?
one? That was a good one. Have you started it yet?
No, I just got it.
Oh, okay, it's good. But yeah, like, so it's not. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. It's just, I'm just also pointing out, like, the people who created all this technology we're using read all these books, so that might tell you that there's information in some of these books that like shows you, like, how they're influenced, and therefore what they like. If they're just kind of running their childhood fantasies or their, you know what I mean? It's like Lucky Palmer naming everything after, or Palmer Lucky naming after everything after Lord of the Rings and shit, or
Yeah.
Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just interesting.
Sigad says the Anunnaki actually created all modern technology. You know what? That is Nick
mean-
Land's theory, isn't it? It's like the future
Nick
is coming
Land
back
talk
into the
about the
past
Anunnaki?
to influence its future.
Ooh.
Essentially, yes. Essentially, it's like you've seeded reality with programs.
Huh.
Programs are. I
Oh,
know. Where have I heard that
Wait,
before?
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I was listening to something just this past week, and it said, you put the future of something at the beginning,
Hmm.
and it says you roll it up, you roll up the time of it, so the future it's already predetermined.
Hmm.
and it was
Almost like a program.
like a seed, like a seed. It said, like a seed that's
Out of all the times you do accents, like you're Donald Trump or the Italian mobster,
Mhm.
I'm just waiting for you to say predetermined. in the
that's all
Bernard
you've been
voice.
waiting for me to say this whole time.
Yeah.
Just it's
I bet you got a mean
predetermined.
Bernard impression.
I don't think he meant as a Donald Trump.
No, not as Donald Trump.
I don't understand.
I thought you were going to imitate Bernard's voice. That's all.
I can't do his voice. His voice is too. I don't understand it.
When you walk your process, you'll automatically start talking like him. When you get to a certain point.
walk your process.
You sound like an Italian chef.
He's
a little bit.
Italian now?
See, I can't. I don't understand
That
it.
tells me you're still at stage 5.
All of my accents are Italian accents.
Stage 5 is the Italian accent.
That's it. That's it. All accents are Italian accents. Can't help it. So yeah.
So there was this whole thing with Anthropic, SpaceX IPO.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you talk about the UAP thing yet, Cameron?
No, I haven't talked about that.
Oh,
I'm holding
man.
it back. I'm holding it back.
Cameron shows up
Repeat?
Friday night at like 11 p.m. and we just presume to talk till like 2 a.m. about
We have to like get the
Everything.
cows out of the trailer and everything. I sit down on the couch. Jess is taking care of Max and the kids, and then we're like, "All right, so here's what I've been listening to this whole time." And then we're just having like till like 1:30, and I'm like, "We should probably go to bed."
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we should talk about at least the Anthropic thing that happened. I don't
Yeah.
really understand.
So let's show that.
Educate the people. Educate the people. I
Let's
don't
show
know how
the
many
the
people are
Twitter
even aware of it.
things,
Okay, yeah,
and
we can start
then
with that.
because
we can decode it.
that was my first reaction, was just like, yeah, I'm not buying that bullshit.
Well, wait, before you get to that though,
Uh-huh.
Anthropic released Fable,
Yes.
which
okay,
is
yeah.
basically the fully publicly released version of Mythos. It's the same, I guess. So they had held Mythos back. They gave it to some groups, some companies, because it had this ability to find 0-day vulnerabilities in code and like basically really good. You know, they were concerned that people might use it to exploit vulnerabilities because they could identify them. It was things that people could already do, but it was just really good at it. And I think there's more details.
Can you
probably
explain what
things that we don't know
0-day?
about.
Can you explain what 0-day vulnerabilities are?
I think it's basically just
Like if I have a
like
bank,
bu-
you can
like basically
log in my
bugs in
shit.
your code that are there that you haven't noticed that are like really critical that, you know, if you can exploit it, you can totally fuck a system. And, you know, so I think that's the general idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was the news anyways. Maybe it had more capabilities than even people are saying, but that was the one big one that got the headlines. So they held it back. And then eventually they're like, okay, we're releasing this new model. It's called Fable, which is essentially Mythos. And then pretty shortly thereafter, like within the first day, I think, people started reporting on Twitter. Like, I think it kind of all started from this biologist, or he was some kind of biology researcher. And he's like, Claude isn't, you know, Claude or Mythos, right? Which is just a model of Claude, is like, it's not answering my questions about biology. Like, it's giving him this response of, you know, I won't answer certain questions about things that have to do with crypto, or not crypto, what's the word I'm looking for?
Safety.
Like security, like computer
Yeah.
security, biological research, and there's maybe some other stuff. And he was like, I'm just a biologist doing research. Like, I'm using this to do research. Like, I'm a biologist. And it was like not letting him. And then other people started reporting it. And then people were connecting all the dots. And somebody was saying, like, I think Claude knows I'm a biologist and it won't answer any of my questions. It won't even like say hi to me anymore. So it like clearly had been, you know, clamped down. And so that was going on in the background. And then people were noticing it was doing similar things with other stuff. And in other words, it just looks like it was like okay, don't answer certain types of questions. Don't go into certain lines with people. And also another person found that because they were doing LLM research and it wouldn't help them with that either. And so they were
Right.
like, well, it looks like it's not trying, you can extrapolate that and say it's not going to let you build a better model, right? It's not going to let you use it, even though the whole claim about this stuff is that eventually it'll write its own code. So Anthropic is using it to create the next version, but they're not going to let you do that. Somebody pointed out that's already in their terms of use, is that you can't use it for that purpose. But regardless, it was a point I had been making a while back of like, do you really think they're going to give you these super advanced super intelligence and let you compete with them? Like, do you think that's going to happen? Like, of course not, right?
Yeah.
So then maybe you want to show some of the tweets about the next point with the
Yeah.
government. So then, like,
Yeah.
maybe the second or third day of its release, the government makes this announcement, and then Anthropic makes an announcement.
Yeah.
Maybe you could show the government one first if you have that.
Let me see. I thought I did.
Also, while you're doing that, we played volleyball for like 2 hours yesterday. It was intense. It was like, one more game? We were like, yeah, one more. It was nuts. We were
It's like
going.
can't
Wow.
dive.
I was diving every
Still
shot
got it in him,
unnecessarily.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So here's what I have this is from Anthropic, a statement from the US government. Let me share. Boom. U.S. government, citing national security authorities, has issued an export control directive to suspend all access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 by any foreign national, whether inside or outside the United States, including foreign national Anthropic employees. The net effect of this order is that we must abruptly disable Fable 5 and Mythos 5 for all our customers to ensure compliance. Access to all other Claude models is not affected. We apologize for this disruption to our customers. We believe this is a misunderstanding and are working to restore access as soon as possible. Read our full statement.
So basically, the government comes out and says, yeah, national security, something, this is dangerous. We can't let any foreign nationals use this. So Anthropic, you need to make sure no foreign nationals access this, whether they work for your company, whether they're in the US, doesn't matter. And then they were like, well, we can't fucking do that practically. So let's just roll the model back. No one can use it now. I'm like, that's weird. Right. And then everyone's like clowning on Anthropic because they're like, oh, see, you wanted the government to regulate AI and look what you got. Haha, you got what you wanted. Haha.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but it's weird, right? Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then they're saying now Anthropic's whining about it. I don't know if they're whining about it, but it's, I don't know. Again, it's like I'm seeing all of this and I'm like, what is happening here? And I don't think it's something with just that information you can really understand what's happening. It's like if you're watching someone play chess and you see them making some moves and you can see something's going on, but you don't quite know where they're going with it. You can't see that far ahead.
Yeah.
But you can see something is weird. Like, why are they making that move? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But you know they're good, so you're like, there must be something behind that, which is what makes you better than the other person, right? Because they can't see what you're doing. So it seems like that. And on the one hand, also the narrative is like, see, the government is cracking down on Anthropic, and Anthropic just wants regulation, and they're getting their just desserts, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm like, or maybe this is all a part of something bigger, and it's maybe not, you know. And then you got Mark Andreessen going, there is no such thing as 5D chess. Everyone's just improvising. And I'm like, yeah, Magnus Carlsen would tell you that when he's playing you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, no, I'm not playing 5D. I'm not thinking ahead. Like, I'm just improvising in the moment. Like, maybe.
Did
Maybe
you
that's
see
what's
Mark
happening.
Andreessen's other tweet about the bugs in the pods and everything?
No.
Mark Andreessen's? No.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to show me that.
I was like, was that it? He was like, yeah, that was pretty funny.
This is Eliezer Yudkowsky saying, I have a weird feeling, and please note my weird feelings are not always reliable, but this may be the beginning of things starting to get weird.
Yeah, it's definitely getting weird. It's definitely
Yeah,
getting weird.
Something's happening very clearly. Like, to me, this whole idea of like the government has a problem with foreign nationals using it, and like that's not the story that I'm buying into. You know, like there's something there's something more to it, obviously,
Well,
than just that.
you got to look at the context of the thing with the Pope, remember? And Anthropic's guy was there, and they're saying we
Mhm.
need to like steer this for humanity. It needs basically essentially need to be regulated. So I don't see how it fits into that because it just I don't know. It's weird because then again, it's that kind of thing where um, then you've got all the people who are like the accelerationists being like, haha, Claude got, Anthropic got what they wanted. And I'm like, so you're cheering. And they're like happy. They're like, good. The government should shut them down because they're bad. They're the evil ones. And I'm like, so you agree with Anthropic in principle then?
Right.
This whole time you were saying they're retarded for wanting to regulate things, but you're like, because they said they wanted to be regulated, it's good that the government's regulating them.
Right.
Even though I don't agree with regulation.
Right.
Like,
It doesn't make any sense.
it's so I'm like something weird there.
This guy says that his opinion is that Mythos is the current best model, but not actually some world-changing dangerous model. And Anthropic is basically doing this because they didn't have enough compute to serve it at scale. So they launched Fable because they still have to think about the IPO, but they are still somewhat compute limited. So they put all sorts of restrictions on it. And then around the same time, because they are trying to get regulatory capture and not because things are actually dangerous, Dario did more scaremongering and published his honestly confusing white paper that offered no real solutions. So finally, they succeeded. They managed to freak out the government. Their cynical plan backfired, and now it's a giant pain in the ass.
But that would imply that their plan worked.
Right. And then Cameron says, I don't buy this. I think we're seeing the unfolding of something larger and deliberate. And that guy said, you might be right.
But again, it's like their plan backfired.
Right.
How did it backfire if that's what they want?
Right.
And okay, can you go back to it real quick? Because there was something else about it that I was like,
Sure.
something seemed contradictory.
He publishes.
Oh,
confusing
no, no.
white paper.
Okay, it was the part where he says they finally succeeded. They managed to freak out the government.
Yeah.
Freak them out how? Like, oh, they said it's so big and scary, and the government was like, oh no, they said it was big and scary. We should stop it.
Yeah.
So the government just like believes that they said it's big and scary. Like, so that doesn't make sense to me. That the government would be freaked out by what they claim about it, but also, okay, because also they're limiting it. So why would the government be freaked out about how scary it is when they literally put limiters on it? And then there's the point of maybe the government, remember that whole thing, if you go back a little bit, where there was this rift apparently between the Department of Defense and Anthropic, because Anthropic was at the point of like,
Right.
we want to be able to have some say about whether you use this to like launch a missile or plan
Right,
some
yeah.
war or something. Like, we want to make sure our thing is used ethically. And they're like, we can't let the companies put restrictions on how we use it because the government is elected by the people, apparently. And so we have accountability in the government. And so we're not going to be now doubly held accountable by corporations who can decide what we can and can't do. Like, in the moment of a war, we need to be able to act fast and make decisions and not have to go ask Dario, hey, can we use the AI to do this? Like, he's now, right? So that's kind of part of it. So then I guess you could look at it like they purposefully put restrictions on certain questions to show the government, hey, we're still going to put our restrictions on it. And so even if you're using this in the government, if there's certain questions we don't want you to ask or get answers to, we're going to do that. And I'm like, yeah, what's the play here? What's the, like, it's almost like, and so when Mark Andreessen says, oh, everyone's just improvising, I'm like, so you're telling me Dario is like retarded? It doesn't seem retarded. Like, that's like I'm telling you that everything's improvised so you won't look further and go like, maybe this is all planned and maybe that's why it seems weird. You will live in the pod, eat the bugs, use the only AI, and live on UBI. Yeah, so he's kind of,
It's like poking fun at it.
yeah,
Yeah.
as if it's all just a WEF, master plan kind of thing.
This though, look at it. It took me forever to find that tweet, but
What?
it's all shit about this whole
The fuck?
What else? You see?
Your
Mitchell?
Wi-Fi is fucked, man.
Mitchell,
Oh, my Wi-Fi.
like, we
Your
could not
internet.
understand a word you said.
What was
You
the tweet
sounded
you were
like-
looking for?
You sounded like those.
So I was just saying, it took me a moment to find the bugs in the pods tweet,
Mhm.
but then because he posts like
A lot.
40 times a day,
Yeah.
and if you see, he's clearly pushing the whole like an eagle is released at the UFC fight weigh-ins, and like he's just peddling the whole propaganda thing. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
It's
dude.
weird.
You guys see
It's weird.
the America games? Have you seen this now? It's going to be soon, where it's literally they're sending 2 people from all
Every
50
district?
states.
every
yeah.
district. Yeah.
And literally, there's lines that is exactly what that guy, I forget his name in Hunger Games, like Professor Snow or whatever, the dictator guy.
Yeah.
And Trump is using verbatim the same lines from the movie with it.
Really? That
Yeah.
can't be
Yeah.
coincidental.
We're definitely in a new era of politics. Where it's like we're literally gonna quote O'Brien from 1984
Right.
in a speech or something, and you're like, what? And they're like, but we can see you doing it, and they're like, yes, correct, we are doing that. But it's almost like they're pretending to play the villain. They're like,
Right.
what would be all the things that the dictator would do? They're like, let's do all those things and make it look like we're this weird dictator thing. But at the same time, we're going to talk about how, oh, we're going to play both sides. We're going to play the pretend dictator, but then at the same time talk about, freedom and all this stuff. And like, you know what I mean? Simultaneously play like we're the 1776 rebels, but we're also the dictators, at the same time, and like play off of both. So it's so confusing what they're actually doing. And I think that's the distraction. It's
Yeah.
more just like we're so not telling you really what's going on, and we're giving you so much to like be confused about that you'll just never put together like what's actually happening. And I have some theories about what's actually happening.
Oh.
So
Okay.
now I'll give you what I was holding back if you want,
Oh.
if you guys want to go into that.
Yeah. Don't hold back.
So-
don't
Oh, yeah.
hold
Okay.
back.
So now I can do it justice, right? Okay. So anyway, so I was watching a few things on the drive. Was that your mating call?
That was the rest of the
See
song.
God. Oh. Okay. So on the drive up, I was listening
It
to
didn't
a
really
bunch of
sound like
stuff.
the rest of it.
I don't even know the song you're talking about.
You know the song I'm talking about.
Tell me again.
Galvanized by the
hold
Chemical
back.
Brothers?
Chemical Brothers, exactly.
Oh, Galvanize.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. See, you
Yeah,
both
but
knew
I
it.
didn't- I don't hear the mating call.
Yeah.
We didn't recognize your mating call.
Dun,
Oh,
dun, dun.
Yes, I know that. Not that
Yeah, that.
fucking
I don't remember a turkey
peacock
sample.
sound.
Yeah, I don't remember them sampling the turkey mating call.
I'll find it. I'll find it.
Dun, dun, dun. Dude, you know what's a cool one? Have you heard that song Horsepower?
Chemical Brothers?
Yeah. I think it's maybe on that same album. It's like dun, horse power, and it's almost and then it's like it's like building up, and it's got like and it's like building up, and it's got like the horse sounds. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's
I'm
pretty
in.
cool.
I'm
I
into
want to
it.
see a reel of you or Katie on your horses with that. Right? See, that'll be our political angle. We'll be posting cool shit like that
Yeah. Real shit.
instead of the weird shit right now.
All right. You were saying, sorry, I
That-
didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, okay. So listen to all this stuff, and I have to give a little bit of context, right? So remember, we've been talking about UAPs, UFO disclosure, all that kind of stuff, right? And I read, I haven't finished it, but I've been reading, here and there, Jason Giorgiani's book, Closer Encounters. But we've listened to all the interviews. It's not really much more in the book than what he's already said. It's just more detailed and precise and laying it all out, right?
Yeah.
But I think if you've heard his interviews, you've got the oh boy.
Listen. Okay. Okay. Let me just turn this up a little bit. Okay.
Push the button.
World-
It says it's called push the button.
Yeah.
It's like the end of our podcast.
Am I vindicated or what?
I thought it was like a woo.
You're
That's what I was
fucking
doing.
turkey.
You were doing like that Muslim like
Same thing. What's the difference?
I guess.
All right, so continue. Giorgiani,
Okay. So
UAP.
I think it was 2021. There was these hearings. I could be wrong by the time. It could be 2023. I don't remember. But there was these hearings, right, where they were like having people come forward and testify about different things, right?
Mhm.
And around that time, so 2021, 2023, something around there, um, they had created this program where in the military they were encouraging military members to report UAPs and sightings and things like that. And whereas before in the culture in the military would be like, if you see something weird, you don't really talk about it. You don't need to report it. It's just some weird shit happened maybe. But then it became like this encouraged thing to like
don't ask,
report
don't
this
tell.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't ask, don't tell, get the probe. Just don't talk about it.
Get the probe. Don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
Don't
Um,
ask if he's an alien.
Yeah. Don't ask the aliens sex or whatever. Okay, so anyway, so they kind of changed the culture and it was like report everything. And so a lot of those files that we saw released initially was stuff that was reported 2010s or later, really. A lot of it was from like the 2020s. And it's all like gun footage, gun camera footage. And also, one of the guys I was listening to, he explained that when you're seeing that footage and it looks kind of blurry and stuff, he's like, you got to realize it's not a optical camera in the way you think of it, like an iPhone. It's
Mhm.
it's usually like thermal imaging, like
Yeah.
infrared.
Yeah.
So he's like, you got to realize, yes, it looks blurry, but the blurriness shouldn't discredit it. It's looking at something at night, maybe in infrared, and so it's not going to be necessarily crystal clear and so forth. Anyways,
And,
it's like a
and
heat
it would
signature.
be like an anomaly if you're looking at infrared and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Right. So, okay. So I listened to, there was a Jesse Michaels interview with this guy, Jeremy Corbell, who I have heard this guy's name a bunch in the UFO stuff, never really looked into or listened to any of his stuff, but he's sort of a journalist, actually. He's like reports on the stuff and makes information about it. But he also, as of late, has been helping whistleblowers come forward. Okay. And his approach is not so much to break a story initially, it's to help the whistleblower get where they need to get through the government. And only as a last resort, do reporting on the stuff if they're like not able to do the proper channels of whistleblowing. And so, as a part of this whole like shift in like, we're going to let people in the military come forward, explain their story, like report their sightings, it's encouraged, we're going to track this stuff. The government created this thing called AARO, AARO, I think. And it was sort of it was for like whistleblowers to be able to give information because Congress basically said, we don't know what's going on with this whole thing. There's something going on. We need whistleblowers to come forward so we can kind of piece it all together. And basically, I'll just give you one of the stories that I listened to, right? So they're talking to the guy. And there's this one guy, I'm trying to remember his name, Matthew Brown. And he's the guy who found out about this thing called it's called Immaculate Conception. No, not Conception. Immaculate Constellation, sorry. Immaculate
It's like,
Constellation.
I know about conception. And
So he's a government contractor at the Pentagon. He like studied international affairs. He's into something in the realm of like intelligence data something. I forget exactly like what he did, but he worked at the Pentagon and he had a high classification. And he said at one point, he's doing all this different work and he liked his job and he thought he was doing a great thing. And so they basically get on they have these computer systems in the Pentagon. And if there's like projects that are called SAP, which is special access programs, like information about these programs should not just be on a random network in the Pentagon. Although it's still secured, it's like there's certain things that are they would have their own compartmentalization. Like certain things are so classified, or certain they're classified under like an SAP, and so they should have kind of like their own contained network essentially. And you shouldn't have any information about them on like other stuff, right? It'd be like if you were working on a company document, but you were doing it on your personal email or something. Like even though your email might be secure, you still shouldn't be doing it in that area. You should be doing it over here only, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so he said there was kind of like he was very serious about his job. He loved doing it. And there was sort of a unspoken voluntary program of, going through files and checking to see if they're supposed to be there or not. And then, reporting if they found something that's like, hey, this isn't supposed to be on this server. This needs to get into its classified area, okay, into its compartment. And he said, one day he was just doing that. It was sort of like they would do it whenever they wanted to. And he came across this document, and it was like a slide deck, and it was this program called Immaculate Constellation. And he's just reading through it because it didn't seem anything weird initially. And he's going through the document just to see what it is so he can decide should it be here or not be here. And it's describing all these a few different encounters with some kind of UAPs. And like in one example that was kind of the most striking was it was pictures of a giant triangle over some Russian Navy ships. And then the picture was clearly taken from like the waterline. And it was explaining that it was an American reconnaissance asset that was observing Russian Navy ships in an engagement with this triangle. And engagement doesn't mean fighting. It just means like they're there interacting with it, or they're observing it, or, it's close enough they would consider it called an engagement, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they just saw it far away. It was like they're near them, which normally if that was like an American aircraft that close, they'd probably be like trying to do warning shots or something, whatever, or communicating with it to be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So, and in it, what he realized within that, the way it was described was the Navy, the report was saying that the Russian Navy did not do anything out of the ordinary. It's like as if they expected it to be there. Like they had shown up in this random place, and then this thing is there, as if they were coming there knowing that it was going to be there and they wanted to observe it or interact with it somehow. But it wasn't, but they weren't like reacting to it, right?
Yeah.
It was like they're acting like nothing weird is happening in terms of the behavior of the ships and what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then he was like, but also we have some kind of submarine or something watching all of this.
Yeah.
And so the program was basically designed to take information that's been collected like that, and then be able to kind of like collate all that information so that it can be briefed to whoever needs to be briefed on it. And so that was the program Immaculate Constellation, which on the surface doesn't seem like a big deal. But there's more detail to it as to like why it seems like a problem. And then so then fast forward maybe like a few days later, a week later, whatever, he's seeing this, and all it is initially is he's like, this seems like a really specific project that should not be here. It was clearly an SAP, a special access program. That's like what they're doing here shouldn't be on this server. That was the point. That's all it was. It wasn't like he saw anything bad about it per se. It was just like, okay, we're doing that, and this should definitely not be on this computer or in this network. And so just according to the rules of how information should be managed, okay?
Okay.
But also, it under the surface, it implies we're having all these encounters with clearly non-human shit. Something's weird about that, and no one else knows about this. Okay, so then he gets this briefing not too long after that saying, hey, if you're on these computers and you come across special access program information, here's how you report it. Here's the process you go through to report this to your chain of command so that it can be recompartmentalized and everything needs to be done. Okay, so he's like, oh, I should probably do that with this. Okay, this definitely seems like that. We're being told here's how we should handle things like this. Let me go to my superior and let them know about what I saw so they can help me reclassify it or do what they need to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to his boss, his like commander or whatever, some lieutenant colonel, retired lieutenant colonel that, you know, again, these are contractors working at the Pentagon. They're not like military, right?
Okay.
So he goes to the guy and he's like, hey, I got this. I found what I think is a special access program. I need to know what to do with it. And the guy's like, okay, let me see. So he goes back to the computer with him and he, you know, they're sitting down. The guy sits down and he's like, you know, scrolling through it and showing the guy. And the guy's like, he's looking at it. So like imagine the analyst guy is standing here, let's say, and then the boss is sitting at the computer looking at it and he's scrolling through it. And he goes, did you read all this? And the guy's describing, he's like, he kind of just like looked at the guy and like looked back at the computer, kind of like, and he didn't answer. And the guy goes, let's just delete this and don't worry about it. Okay. In other words, it was kind of like, let's just pretend this didn't happen. Just delete it. You didn't see anything, you know, like without saying it. Cause he was like, did you read all this? And since the guy didn't say yes or anything, he was just like, just delete it. Right. And the guy was like, okay. So he went back and, you know, he was like, that was weird. Cause that's definitely not what we were briefed to do. Like we were very specifically briefed. Like it definitely wasn't just delete it and forget about it. Okay. But it was almost like the guy was giving him an out. Like, you didn't see nothing, did you? No. Okay. Just delete it. This didn't happen. Right. But the guy was like, I didn't sit right with me. Also, yes, I could do what he said. Take the hint. He's like, but everything I'm doing on this computer is being logged. So it might come out later that I did read it, you know, and that's not good. So he was like, can't just do that because I'm putting myself at risk. And he's like, I want to have a career and all this. So then after a little while, he goes to sort of like a higher up in the chain and goes to them, tells him, I think, you know, he's like, he didn't even say much about it because the first time he told the guy sort of what it was. So this next time he's like, yep, I just found this special, what I think is a special access program. I'd like you guys to look at it and just tell me what's the process to do with it. So he's like kind of held it all back. So then the same thing basically happened where they were like, you know, I forget the details of that conversation, but it was basically like, you know, just, we got it now, thanks. And again, it was like, this is not the process. He was like, do I need to sign something like telling you, like saying that I told you about it? So it's like cover my ass kind of. And they were like, nope, you don't need to sign anything. You're good. Bye, thanks. And he was like, dude, what the fuck? So he goes back to the computer and he like searches it up and it's gone. And he's like, dude, like this doesn't seem good. Like something's wrong here. Like, you know, he's thinking about like also like, why are they not treating it properly? What's going on here? Right. So I'm trying to condense the story a lot. He gives a lot of detail that makes it clear, but eventually the Congress passes this thing that's like, we want whistleblowers to come forward who have knowledge about any sort of UAP type stuff, like any weirdness, whatever. We want whistleblowers to come forward because basically there's some kind of cover up, something happening. We want whistleblowers to come forward. So he's like, okay, they're telling me like basically it's like, you know, you're in that role and you're like, I'm doing my job. If Congress asks for something, they want me to do it. I'm following what I'm being told by the government, by who I work for. So I'm going to do what I'm being told. So he eventually ends up going to like, and it's this, but he doesn't, there's no process for like, how do you do that? They're just like, we want whistleblowers to come forward. And he's like, how do I do this? But he's also like, but I can't trust anybody because clearly my boss and the people higher up are not doing things by the book. Yeah. He's like, fuck. So how do I blow the whistle without encountering somebody who's knowing I'm trying to blow the whistle and it's a problem? So he's having to like get in contact with like Senate and congressional staffers and tell them, and then having a meeting and then kind of going further and like all this stuff. And he's like, I really don't know how to navigate this area. So it's, you start to see like how you imagine the government's very like, you know, everything very clear cut. And it's like totally not that way at all. It's like all very weird and political and strange. So anyways, he eventually, it's like there's so many points where he would finally kind of get through to somebody, and then at some stage he'd be like railroaded, And he's like, what the fuck? Okay, I can't keep going that way. So I'm trying to think. There was one point where they had him write down they had a big interview with him. They had it written out as a memo, and then they gave him the memo to like check and make sure everything was correct. That way he could sign it. And it's kind of like his official testimony, although it's called like a memo, but it's kind of like legally binding. It's like you're officially saying this. But when he read the memo, he was like, there was all this information about some specific staffer that I had talked to that was like not totally accurate and also totally unnecessary. And he was like, he could see this memo was written on purpose to fuck that person, like to like implicate them in something. He's like, I'm not doing that. So he deleted all that shit, rewrote the parts that were necessary, and then signed it and everything, right? So he's like, all right, I did my thing. But I'm going to kind of cut to the chase. But basically, and there was another guy, which maybe I'll talk about in a second, but there was another guy that I watched an interview with, another whistleblower, and his story is real fucking crazy.
Okay.
But basically, what I observed through all of this, on the one hand, is that the whole purpose of this program, this whistleblower program, was not because they actually wanted information so that they could put together, what's going on. Because in that Arrow program, which was like kind of coordinating the testimony of the witnesses and all this stuff, or the whistleblowers, there was like CIA within that. And so this program was run by the I forget what it's called, but it's kind of like, when you have an inspector general who like is like the watchdog over a department, like the inspector general of the Justice Department. They're sort of like the policeman of the Justice Department. Right. So if they're doing corrupt shit, the IG would be like checking out what they're doing and finding all that out.
Yeah.
So this whistleblower program was being run by this IG for the intelligence community. So they're kind of like the watchdog over the whole thing within the government. Okay. So if there's shady shit going on in the intelligence agency, they're the ones who would be overseeing it. So they're not like underneath anybody. But what they found out with this whistleblower program is the CIA had people in there, okay, because what they really wanted to do, maybe the purpose of the program was to get the whistleblowers to come forward so they could do all this, but the CIA had people in there, and what they were really doing was trapping people into coming forward with what they knew so they could find out who knows what. You see, and then that way they could like basically target that person of like, now you're fucked. Okay. And anyways, there's a whole lot of context to that, more details to that story, but they're not so relevant. So then there was this other guy, I listened to his interview, and I think he worked for the Air Force and then the Navy at some point. So he was actually in the military, and he was describing how his whole story is that he saw like one day at an Air Force base, I think it was, there was this, again, a triangle again, this giant fucking black triangle, which was almost like pyramidal, but like the sides were like this or something, almost like a square kind of base, but with pyramid on it. And it was like hovering, and it was like covered in this like plasma, like translucent, like plasma all around it. He described it like kind of like a lava lamp, the inside of a lava lamp, but imagine that all dispersed out all over the surface and kind of like this, right? Like over the surface of this thing. Okay. And so, I jumped into like the second part. So I don't have all the details of what happened when he saw it, but fast forward, I think he might have said something about it. Fast forward, he's at this new assignment. Okay. And he said, it's the most grueling work. It's like 16-hour shifts, working holidays, working weekends. It's like a nightmare job. And he's just like fucking hates it, but he's working as a contractor, I guess. He's in the military. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. Yeah. At that point, he's a contractor. And they have these security clearances, okay? Because when you go work on these secret programs, you have to have a security clearance. And what they can do is they can suspend your security clearance. So you still technically have it. It was never revoked, but they put it in a limbo. So like, for example, if he's working at one place and he wants to get a job somewhere else, what they have to do is they have to send their security clearances to the next place. So when they get there, like, okay, you got all your clearances, you're good to go, you're good to work for us. But if they put your security clearance in limbo, you can go and apply for jobs and they'll be like, awesome, you're so qualified, you got all these skills, you've got the security clearances. They're like, we just can't hire you yet because your clearance is in limbo. It's like in purgatory, basically. So he's like stuck there. He can't go anywhere else. Okay. And then he's there. He said there's one night where something, they were like, him and a bunch of other people that worked there were all hanging out. And he said, it's like they're just kind of like shooting the shit and talking about weird shit and like just relieving stress. It wasn't anything official, but a bunch of people that are working there. And he's like, oh, dude, I saw one time this fucking triangle thing all over here. He was describing his experience. And then he says, he gets on his computer later and there's a pop-up message in their secure network that says, you're not supposed to be talking about that stuff. And he's like, what the fuck? And so, again, as Keith pointed out, I'm cutting to the chase here. I can't give you the fucking 4 hours fucking information. Okay, but there is a point I'm getting to. Okay, it'll tie together. So he realizes at a certain point that, because he like keeps applying for jobs and they keep saying, well, you can't transfer yet because your security clearances, right? And then remember that conversation I was saying where they're all shooting the shit? They're all talking about weird shit that they've experienced. Mm-hmm. And then, he's telling his thing and then he's getting these messages and he realizes, I don't know if this was then or in retrospect or whatever, but the job he was doing, the place he was assigned to, is where they send everybody who reported weird shit that they want to just put over here.
They want to shelf them.
Yes. And everybody there was there for that reason, basically. And they also had people in there to kind of monitor them and see what they're doing and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, this is fucking like insane, right?
So it's basically like prison, but you're getting paid.
Yeah, it's like you're doing a job, but he said you're working he's like, you're getting paid $60,000 an hour, or not an hour, $60,000 a year to this really grueling work, which he's way overqualified. It's like he's qualified for the next level thing. Like,
yeah.
It's like you're just stuck there. It's like you're never getting a promotion for some reason, and they're not telling you why. And it's always like, sorry, your security clearances are in limbo, can't do anything about it. And he's like going to the proper channels and saying, I want my security clearances put back active. Like, what the hell's going on? They're like, oh yeah, we'll work on it. I think it's just 6 more months, all this stuff, right? So there's all this back and forth.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to give you the highlights. At one point, he gets his things back, so he moves on to the next job. And then like immediately they're taken out and it's like weird shit going on. And he's also at one point going to like a Veterans Affairs psychiatrist because he's having stress issues and stuff. And he gets prescribed these, actually, I think I might be jumping the timeline a little bit. There's one point in between here where he goes out with his friends, like they're drinking at the bar. He has a couple beers. He's driving home. Okay. He's like, I'm not like drunk or anything. It's like, I was there all night. I only had a few beers, whatever. Okay. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But he totals his car. Okay. And I think at that point, I can't remember. There was a certain point where he had to like pull out all his 401k because he couldn't get the next job. It was like his life was just like going fucked because like they were not allowing him to get that next thing or whatever. So anyway, so one night totals his car. The police investigate because they're like, if you crash your car drunk driving, you're committing a crime, right?
Yeah.
The police detective sergeant, whatever, that's handling the case goes to his house in person and tells him, I'm not going to prosecute you. And the only reason is because your brake lines were cut. And the guy's like, what? So he's like, in the police report, it never says the brake lines are cut, but he never gets prosecuted for totaling his car drunk driving.
Yeah.
Okay. So then he realizes like, and again, I can't remember the details of like what was going on then. Like he had said something or done something at some point, and then like right after that, that's when it happened. It was like, there was one experience, which I don't remember in the timeline. He said he went to the VA and they prescribed him this like PTSD medication. Oh, and they weren't giving him his benefits. They were like, you don't have PTSD, so you can't get these benefits. Because at that point he couldn't get a better job. He was trying to live off his benefits and his 401k that he had pulled out because he just couldn't get a job anymore. and he had a house, and he's like, at some point I'm going to be fucking homeless because it's expensive to live in Northern Virginia where he was at.
Mm.
And they give him this medication for PTSD, even though they're denying him the benefits for it, but they're like, you need to take this. And he wakes up one night after taking the medication, and he said the way he described it, he was like, you know, like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're really thirsty and like you need to drink some water because you feel like dehydrated or whatever. He was like, it was that kind of a feeling, that kind of like a impulse. He was like, I woke up and I knew I needed to kill myself. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, I would never do that. But like, it was like this strong impulse to do it. So then he goes to another doctor and he's telling him about it. Like, dude, I think I need to get off this medication. They're trying to get me to take this medication. And that doctor, who I think also works in the VA, I'm not quite sure, I can't remember, but he's like, he helps him look into all this stuff. And he's like, there is a group of people in the VA which absolutely are trying to get you to kill yourself. And later down the line, this doctor even resigns in protest. Okay. So I'm just trying to give you like it, the way he described it, it didn't sound like it's a crazy person talking. It's like he's just documenting all the shit that's happened to him. And it all stems from the fact that he saw something and said something about it. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I'm tying that back to the other point too, because it's like, imagine you're working in this capacity, and they call it exposure. Like, you're not digging around snooping. You're exposed to something you're not supposed to be exposed to. And now, whether you say something or not, you're like marked. It's like you weren't supposed to know this. Okay.
Yeah.
So the other thing about that first one I was telling you about, there's something that he also exposed within it, which was in that Immaculate Conception. There's some kind of AI aspect to it. There was this program called like Sentient in the military, which I had not heard of before. And it had, and I don't know if it directly has something to do with Immaculate Constellation, but in the Immaculate Constellation, part of what he saw within it is that they're using AI, and they're taking all this data and they're putting it into an AI. Okay. And this is the real big point of, there's the whistleblower part, which is really interesting to me, which is the fact that you work in these places and you're constantly like worried about like, who can I talk to if something happens? And like, you know, all this crazy shit. I'm like,
right.
Wow. And he's like, you know, I was like having this career and I'm like, I want to do this next. And I'm going to travel the world and do all these things. And now you're suddenly like in a fucking nightmare, basically. Right.
Yeah.
Because of all the corruption and all. And so then as the Immaculate Constellation guy was looking further, he's seeing all this corruption and weird shit. And he's like, I got to blow the whistle on this for real. And that's why he eventually went to Jerry McCorbell. Corbell was helping him blow the whistle. He was helping him get to the proper channels, get the meeting with the congressman, sit down, tell them what they know so they can protect him and get the information. And then eventually it kept getting just like what they did. I think with both guys, but definitely with that second guy I told you about with the triangle thing. Mm-hmm. This is where the Arrow thing comes in. He went to Arrow. So that was the whistleblower thing that was supposed to be like, you're going to come and tell us your testimonial. Okay. And we'll make sure it gets into this point where we're looking into all this.
Yeah.
What happened to him was he goes in there. Eventually he gets that meeting after a long series of things. He goes in there, gives him his testimonial. And then they're like, great, thank you. Everything you just told us is now classified and you're never to speak of it again. But thank you. And he's like, he's talking to his lawyer and he's like, I told them about my childhood. I told them about like my entire life, because it's like a whole point, right? He's like, I told him details about like when I was a kid. He's like, is that classified? And he said his lawyer was like, everything they told you, that needs to be erased from your memory. What? Like, you're never to speak in, no, nothing. Don't say anything about anything you told them. And he's like, dude, what the fuck? So that kind of ties into the point I was making about the purpose of the whistleblower program was to get people who knew shit that shouldn't be known, bring them in, have them, they find out who knows what, and then classify all the information they know. Wow. Because like, if you're on a base and you just see something weird that has nothing to do with the program you're doing, you see something weird, no one told you it was classified, no one ever said anything about it, you're not technically under an obligation to like not talk about it.
Right.
Because you just start talking about what, you know what I mean? Like there was that other guy who was talking about that he was like an intelligence and he was like going on these ships and seeing weird stuff. Remember, he was in the submarine. I don't know if I told you guys about this. He was in the submarine and there's like some super underwater supersonic thing that went by on the radar, and he was in the room when they heard it, and he was like, they were all in the room, and he was like, they were all like, what the fuck was that? And he looks at the commander, and the commander looks at him, and he's like, I'm gonna go back to my station. And he leaves the room. And he's like, so the reason I can tell you about it is because no one ever fucking told me what that was. They never told me I couldn't talk about it. You see what I'm saying? It's not like they
Yeah.
were like, okay, that was a classified event, you can't talk about it.
Right.
So that's kind of like this guy with the triangle thing. No, it wasn't like he was in a program and he's spilling the secrets of the program. He just saw weird shit and was like, dude, I saw something weird. So they
Yeah.
had to get him to. So at first they were just trying to get him to kill himself. You
Right.
see what I mean? And they were also trying to make it look like he was crazy. Then that didn't work, so they tried to get him kill himself. Anyway, so
So then they
Um,
got him to go through all the whistleblower channels and look like, oh wow, I'm finally gonna get my say.
yeah,
And then they're like, all right, and now that you've told us all that, shut the
now we're
fuck up."
classifying it.
Yeah.
Right. And there's so many details. Like if you were to go watch the interviews, you would see so much more because obviously I can't do it justice, but there were so many details. So when I describe it, it might sound like, okay, that guy sounds a little wacky and stuff. But when you listen to all the details, you're like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back, okay, I'll finish the point about the whistleblowing thing. They're getting these people to tell them what they know, so they know who knows what, and then they classify it. So now it's like they've captured the information. So that just shows you something right there.
Yeah.
But then the other point they were talking about with the AI stuff, the other guy, Matthew Brown, was talking about, and he said this word and it really clicked, which is the word black box. Okay.
Mm,
So the way that they were using AI within that Immaculate Constellation thing is they were taking all this information that was out there about sightings, different things, putting it into an AI. And then there was something about the way he described it where I realized what's going on, perhaps, which is the problem that they have in the government is that a lot of people see a lot of weird shit.
yeah.
And they don't want you going and blabbing. And now we have the internet where it's so easy to get a message out,
Yeah.
right? So the thing about an AI, like an LLM, think about it like this, okay? Imagine the AI is now trained on all the books that exist,
Yeah.
right? So technically, if they allowed it, you could be like, tell me the contents of, a song called Youth by John Shirley. It could technically, if they don't put limits on it, probably just word for word give you the thing,
Sure.
right? Because it'll even give you quotes that I'm like, how that quote's not even on the internet, but it knows what's in the book, right? For example.
Yeah.
So imagine you take all the information that exists, you put it into the AI. If you were to look into the AI, would you see any of the information?
No.
If you were to look into its quote unquote code, because there's no code there. It's all just these weights. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you go do some research on how does an LLM work, it'll make sense what I'm saying. It's not like there's a copy of the book stored on a database somewhere that it's accessing. It's okay. Yeah. It's like this. Imagine, Drake, I told you a secret. Okay. If the government or like some scientist or whatever got you and put you in a lab,
Yeah.
could they dissect your brain and find this word for word secret that I told you?
No.
They couldn't. And you talk to a neuroscientist, like, no, there's no like words like that are written down somewhere in your body. Like it's maybe your neuron network or something. It's not even that actually. They don't know. So if I wanted to make sure that this secret could be kept somewhat securely, I could just tell it to you. And then the only way anyone's ever going to find that out, let's say I'm dead. Okay. The only way anyone's ever going to find out that secret is by getting you to do what?
Tell it to them.
To say it, right? And maybe they could use hypnosis or drugs. I'm not saying that they couldn't have ways to get it out of you, but they definitely can't dissect you. In your brain, it's in there somewhere. Like unless you
Right.
say it or write it down, they're never going to know it. So that's how the AI works. You feed it with a bunch of information. You could literally delete all that information. It's gone. It's wiped out. But if I know the right questions to ask, I can get that information back out of the AI. Okay?
Okay. I could see that, but then the question really becomes like, but then how do you know it's not hallucinating? You know? If you gave it like some really secure information, right?
Yeah.
How would you know when it
But
recalls
remember,
it?
the reason why it hallucinates is because you're vague.
Mm,
That's what they've shown, right? When you're a knowledge expert in a field and you prompt it correctly, it doesn't hallucinate as much or at all. It hallucinates when you're being vague and you're not prompting it really specifically, so it has to make up information. It's not like a bug in the software. It's just you're not prompting it effectively. You're giving it such vague guidelines that it's like, all right, you want me to write an essay about this, but you're not being very specific about what sources to use or whatever. So it makes up sources sometimes. And also, this is just the commercial side that we see,
true. Okay.
right? So now I'm going to tie it back to Anthropic in a second. But do you guys remember like Genesis mission?
No.
No.
We talked about it a little while back, and it was the federal government. Maybe we can pull it up real quick. Hold on, I'll show you.
Okay. Maybe I do remember it, but not by that name. Not just
show
by
you.
the name.
I spelled it wrong, but it's still the AI still got it. It hallucinated what I really meant to say.
That's it.
Okay. The Genesis mission is a United States national initiative led by the Department of Energy to radically accelerate scientific discovery and technological innovation using artificial intelligence. Double U.S. research productivity by connecting supercomputers, robotics, and federal data sets into a single AI-driven platform.
Okay.
Okay.
Federal data sets.
In late April 2026, the Trump administration abruptly dismissed all 22 members of the National Science Board, the independent governing body of the U.S. National Science Foundation. I don't know if you guys remember this. Okay. So this is my conspiracy theory time, right? But when I'm looking at all this together, what did Anthropic show just recently? They showed that this thing is really powerful. It can tell you how to create cyber hacking tools, whatever, but you can't ask it about that. You can ask it, but it's not going to tell you the answer. But it could do it. It absolutely could do exactly what you're asking, but we're not even letting you go there because we're going to limit. So imagine in the government, if based on your clearance, you're allowed to ask certain questions and get answers. Similar to how classification works, where it's like if it's a classified document and you don't have a classified security clearance, you're not allowed to ask about it.
Yeah.
You can, but it's like I can either confirm, versus if I had a classified security clearance, they're like, oh yeah, that blah, 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 they would just tell you right away, right? So what I'm seeing potentially is they're feeding all of the data into this thing, into this black box, and then they don't even have to keep the data anymore. It's in there somehow. And you're either allowed to ask the questions or not. And so I think I tied it back to Anthropic already because they showed that that is something they're willing to do. Now, it could be, hypothetically, that Anthropic is trying to expose that that's what would happen. I don't know. It could be that they're doing it in service of showing everybody. It's hard to imagine that they are, that benevolent necessarily, like that they wouldn't do something within their self-interest.
I know that's
But
the shtick, but
whether they're doing that on purpose, I'm just saying it does show us that, like I said before, you think they're going to let you just ask it to do anything, like build me my own Claude and then self-improve it. It's like, yeah, I could do that because that's what Anthropic's doing with it, but you can't do that with it, right? So to tie it all together, like what I see potentially is like you have a bunch of researchers working on projects, coming up with information. And instead of putting that all into a computer where someone could go access this entire thing and see all the details of it, they just feed that result into the AI. And the AI is just collecting all this. And it's in that black box. And then only depending on what access you have to ask certain things, can you, like, you could say then, okay, do you have enough information to build an anti-gravity machine? And it's like, yes, I do. Show me the schematics. But there's no government project where you can go and look at all the files of all the different technologies and all this stuff, right?
yeah.
So then I was looking at that in the context also of just like education generally, and how all the children in schools now are being taught to be AI literate,
Yeah.
where they're just teaching you essentially like, let's not even worry about learning shit anymore. The AI already knows all the information. You just ask the AI questions. So they're training future generations to like not even question the fact that there's no information anywhere.
Hmm.
It's all been all we do when information is found, we put it into the AI. You don't need to access the information. You don't need to have a math book to learn how to read. You just ask the math questions to the AI. So it's like creating that sort of approach to things.
It's a choke point because I was looking at um the IAI. It's like the Institute of
Mm-hmm.
Art and Intelligence or something
Art and
like that.
ideas, yeah.
Art and Ideas, that's it. Um, so I was looking at that because there was a guy on there. I don't know what his qualifications were, but he was expressing how way back in the day there was some physicist who was looking for a cure for something to do with like people losing feeling at their fingertips.
Mhm.
And what this physicist did was he looked at these other peer-reviewed published reports or whatever that were out there, but no one had ever put them together. He said because what academics will do is they'll only look at their own field and they'll never stray outside of that.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that if you put this information together, you could build something else that has an application somewhere else, and could be really beneficial. Like he's basically making the point, the information's already out there,
Yeah.
but because so many people are just siloed into their own field.
Yeah, they're doing their deep research into their thing. They're not trying to connect dots outside
Right.
necessarily.
So then there's a lot of applications that could be implemented right now that are
Right.
never implemented. And this guy was just making the point of, that's something that AI can do,
Right.
because it was this physicist who's looking at biology who was able to, like, he's not a biologist, but he was able to come up with something that was helpful to a lot of people because he crossed these different paths. And I'm looking at that like, okay, but why can't we just support people to do that? Why does it have to be? And I get, there is a practicality to, hey, you have a machine that can do that really quickly. That's cool. But what's also happening is we're throwing in so much other shit into the AI. It's not going to be used just for that. It's used for also, you can watch every
Yeah.
American as they sit on their toilet and scroll on their phone and what they are looking at and what's causing them to. You want to hear something funny? Just before the podcast started, I was on X and I saw a clip of like some British family going on to their TV to watch something, and then I guess in the smart TVs, I haven't had a TV for a long time, but on the smart TVs, it'll, I guess, show like recent interests or things that you've been looking
Okay.
at, I guess.
Kind of like Netflix, sort of.
Yeah,
Would show recently watched things, or
you're right.
your YouTube. I don't know. Yeah.
And so on the screen is a bunch of like, I guess, thumbnails for other things that have been watched, but it's all blacked out. So there's no image, but it says underneath, I guess, what was searched for, right? And
Okay.
it says like XXX MILF or XXX, some other title,
Yeah.
blah, 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 right? And everybody in this clip is like, it's like a family that's gathered around the TV. Everybody's laughing and pointing at the screen, and the camera pans to like this old grandpa who's got the remote in his hand, and he's like, don't read that. And he's like panicking, like
Shit.
trying to like oh shit, like get off this page. and they zoom in on his face. Then you hear the family members, they're just laughing at him. They're like, look at the panic on his face. Look at him. Look. And it's funny, hilarious clip. But it's like, I'm bringing that up in the context of he's exposed, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody's seeing what grandpa was doing. And now you have an AI that could do that for literally everyone. Like whatever it is that you thought you were doing in secret
Right.
is now something that's being tracked, and the data could be used for whatever nefarious purpose. Like who even wants whatever their private, like even if it's just, I don't know, you doing normal things. Like everybody sits on the toilet, you know? But who wants a video of them sitting on the toilet exposed on the internet or
Yeah.
you know, within the context of like you're trying to maybe apply for a job, or you're meeting somebody new for the first time and somebody else is trying to have some power over you and they're like, yeah, you're not going to do that. Like as an example, the story that you were just telling with the guy who's like, okay, I want another job. And they're saying, oh, you don't have the security clearance. I mean, you do, but it's in limbo for some reason. It's like, that's clearly like, I imagine if that guy tried to change industries, like, okay, fuck this. Even though this is what I've studied, this is what I have experience in, I can see a clear path to making hundreds of thousands or more or whatever with the experience and connections that I have and all that. And so clearly he's going to want to keep doing that. But even if he said, fuck all that, I'm going to go into the private sector and go do this over here, I'm sure somebody would get a phone call saying, yeah, no, you can't hire that guy. He's got even if you said he's got a criminal record or he's being investigated for blah, 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 don't do it. I'm sure they would go, yeah, no, sorry. We like you, but it's not going to work out. You know,
Jess gave me this book that she found like in one of these little like, community library things. It's a Michael Crichton book called Prey, Prey. And I read like the first 50 pages or so. And it's actually interesting because she didn't even know what it was about. But like in the introduction, there was like a cool statement about, I forget what the specific point was, but it was something about, humanity thinking they're superior to the planet and like not looking long term. It was some pretty cool stuff. So then I started reading the actual book. And like the first part of the book is this guy, it's like a first person perspective, describing how he's a house husband and he's like a stay-at-home dad with his kids. And his wife is a VP at this like nanotechnology company. And she's like always studying, doing everything. And at first you're like, oh wow, this guy, like the mom's the breadwinner. But then he starts describing how he had lost his job like 6 months ago. And he worked at this like some kind of computer technology. I forget exactly, but he was working on agentic programs or something like that. And it's not in the context of AI per se, but anyways, and it gets tied in later to like what she's doing and everything. But he's at this company. And he works in like the cybersecurity aspect or something like that. And his company had they had some product that they produced, and then suddenly like some company in Singapore started selling the same product. And he's like, we knew it was our product because we like programmers like to put Easter eggs. Like if you do a certain command, it pops up with like one of the engineers like anniversary dates or some stupid shit, right? And he was like, they didn't even remove the Easter eggs, so we knew it was our product. They straight up just stole it. But that means they had to have the source code. Like clearly something's going on here. So then he gets promoted into another division to like figure out how to make our systems way secure. So he starts ramping up the security, like logs everything everyone's doing. There's video always about what you're doing on your computer, kind of shit like that, monitoring all the emails, everything. So as part of his doing that, so he's meeting with like his boss, who's like really high up in the company, and he's like asking him how it's going. And the guy's like, good, I'm doing everything. We're getting it secured and everything. And he's like, okay, good, good, good. He's like, but you're not watching my computer, right? And he's like, oh, no, no, of course not, But he's like, yeah, I'm definitely fucking watching all the computers. Like, I have to. That's my job description, right? But like, yeah, sure, bro. Like, I got you, kind of. So anyway, so then he finds this email with like, it's like one of the secretaries or something, or any accounting or something, between her and this guy, and they're like having an affair, right? And there's something else about it that's like problematic other than it just being an affair. I forget what it is. So he's like, I can't fucking go tell this guy I know he's having an affair. Like, I'll get fucked. So he just goes to him and he's like, hey, I monitoring the emails and everything. Because he also doesn't want to admit to the guy that he's watching his emails, right? He's like,
Yeah.
I was monitoring. I found something weird in accounting. It looks like somebody in accounting's having an affair with somebody or something like that. Like, this could be a problem. And the guy's like, oh, okay, yeah, thanks for telling me about that. Like, we'll crack down on that or something. And then the guy ends up going and just using his personal email instead of his company email. And he's like, the guy doesn't realize it's still getting sent into our company servers. I can still fucking see what's going on
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
And then I forget the other parts, but there's something about he figures out that the guy is doing weird, shady bribe type stuff, and he's like, oh, he's like, maybe this is the guy that fucking sold our software. Like, he's doing some
Right.
weird, shady shit, and he's like, maybe this is the guy that's fucking doing this stuff. And so he goes to his lawyer and he tells him about it, and the guy's like, you need to just fucking quit, go somewhere else. And the guy's like, yeah, but like, I should say something about it. He's like, I wouldn't do that. If they're doing shady shit and you know about it, you're gonna get fucked. Everybody's going down. He's like, you just need to leave, get out of there, forget about all of it, right?
Hmm.
Because he hasn't proven anything yet. He just sees that the guy is doing some weird stuff, but not at the level that's like, it's kind of indicating maybe this is the guy that was doing it.
Right.
So he's like, just get out of there. And the guy's like, nah, it doesn't sit right with me, I worked on that thing that got stolen. So he's kind of like angry about the fact that I got stolen. He's like, if this motherfucker is the one that's doing that, like, dude, fuck. So he ends up going and telling somebody else in the company. And then it turns out they're all in on it.
No.
He tells a board member. The board member's like in on the thing. So then they fire him, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like trying to get another job, and he's like applying for job after job after job, and he can't get a job. And he's like, clearly I've been like fucking black. Oh, plus it's also like, I've been fired, right? So he like, it wasn't like he quit and nothing bad. He just resigned, wanted to get a better job. That would have been ideal for him. Now it's
Right.
like, you were fired. So instead of them rewarding him, they were just like, oh, you're out, right? So now he looks bad. So now he can't get a job. Eventually he meets this, he's doing one interview with somebody who he knew very personally from like, just social stuff. And the guy's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, nothing here for you, right now. And the guy's like, Mike, like, what's going on, man? Like, me, like, what are people saying? Because like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I'm qualified. And he's like, I forget the guy's name, Jason or something. He's like, Jason, hot-headed, not a team player. And he's just like listing off all the stuff that is the rumor about why this guy's not a good employee.
Yeah.
So just to kind of go back to what you were saying, it's like he didn't do anything wrong, but he pissed off the wrong person. And now they're like,
Yeah.
you're never going to get a fucking job again. I'm going to go and tell everybody I know you're this, 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 and this. And then he even says, the rumor is that you I forget what it was, like some kind of shady shit in the company or whatever. And the guy's like, motherfucker, now they're saying I'm the one who did the shady shit. Oh, but I forgot, when he left, the only way he could get his severance was if he signed a non-disclosure about everything he knew. And then they spread the rumor that he was doing some shady shit, and that's why he got fired. So now when he's trying to get jobs, he can't say, no, I wasn't doing shady shit. They were doing this and this, and they fired him because he's under non-disclosure. Right?
Yeah.
So you were just making this point about like,
Yeah.
that whole thing. And I'm like, no, like obviously it's a fiction story, but I'm like, that's how it fucking works, dude. Like
That is.
they all know each other, and then it's like, okay, you want that deal, but you can't hire this guy or whatever, or they just all know each other, and it's like, yeah, he's persona non grata, but nobody touches him. And then they just maybe the guy who he's talking to is totally innocent, and he's like, but the rumor I've been told is you're not a team player, you're hot-headed, that's why you got fired, you were doing shady shit. And he's like, that's now your reputation,
Right.
right? So even though the person who's isn't in the club, but the person who's like trying to hire you, they've heard all this about you from somebody else who maybe knows it's bullshit. They know it's part of the game, or there'll be certain layers where suddenly it's the person just assumed that's the truth about it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so if you tie that to what we're talking about with the whistleblower shit, and I'm like, if you just try to go and be like, I'm just gonna have a good career and I'm gonna be a good, decent person, and I'm always gonna do what's right, and you get to a certain point, like nothing of your fault happens, and you try to do the right thing and you get totally screwed. Like that guy Matthew Brown, I really encourage people to listen to that interview. It's on Jeremy Corbell. It's like a 3-part interview with him telling the whole thing, because basically part of the conclusion he's come to is like there absolutely is non-human intelligence technology. And oh, that was the other thing I was gonna tell you. So then he talks about the fact that in the government, like when you work at the Pentagon, there's a secret internet.
Oh.
Okay. And when I say secret, I mean it's an
Dark web.
internet only for people who have classified clearances.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they can talk about shit that they can't talk about in public, but they have their own internet with like forums, and it's like literally another internet that exists just like ours that exists inside the government. And he says you can go in there, and because you have classified clearances, you can look up like all the fucking UFO footage, like the real crystal clear shit. And like, so he's like, at that point, everybody like knows a lot more than they can say. And so they have this own little classified internet thing. And so, what was the point I was trying to get at was, he just saw like, he saw from his perspective, he's like, I know absolutely that the government knows that there is non-human intelligence at some level that's here, whatever. There's technology, there's all these different points, and he's like, they are not allowing this to be shared with the public, right? And that was part of his motivation, was just like, you know, that information should not be held back like that. It's not right. And also, I know all the people holding it back are corrupt as fuck. It's one thing if it's just truly doing it to protect people or something. He's like, but they're not. And then you have all of the defense contractors and da 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 da.
Yeah.
So I was looking at all of that, and I'm like, dude, that's the point of the AI, is to, like you said, a choke point, to create a choke point where they have all the intelligence. Because remember, we talked about this before. It's like, if you think of intelligence also as like CIA, like intelligence gathering, they can gather all the intelligence, put it into the black box, and you'll never
Yeah.
see it. And you'll
Yeah.
never be able to figure out what's the conclusion there. So it's
And that-
it's like that problem with specialization that you said, where it's like you can't connect all the things. You literally won't be able to do that ever, because the
Right.
information won't be there.
You won't even know what information is there. And then the other thing is, on top of that, it's like they then have the ability to create that 1984 aspect of like, oh, what did you think the story said? No, it didn't say that. It said the
There's
exact
not even
opposite.
anywhere to look.
Exactly.
Imagine generations down the road, all scientific research, like there's no more web pages. There's just, you talk to an AI. If you write a novel, you write it into an AI. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying there won't be any capacity to write things down, but if you're funded by the government to do research, and they're like, we do research, we upload it to the AI, and you delete it, or the only way you upload the information or do a document is through an AI generated document, that you
Yeah.
don't control what happens to it after that. And like, no, we don't save the information. It's saved into the AI, so to speak, right?
But also, even if you consider like, how are people getting books? I mean, obviously we get physical books, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of people have Kindles, you know, and e-readers. And even on the e-readers, Amazon can just decide like, yeah, we don't publish that book anymore, so you don't have it anymore. In fact, they've I think recently just said they're discontinuing updating certain e-readers. Like if you got it from before this date, they're discontinuing it. If you basically plug in that e-reader to give it a new book from
they
the
just
Amazon store, they destroy it basically. You
Be like
know?
you go to Spotify and the album's no longer there because it got
Right.
removed, kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
There's a book called Rainbow's End by Werner Vinge,
Oh yeah.
and the whole premise of it is like there's this billionaire guy who wants to digitize all the world's books and all the world's libraries, but the way
Yeah.
he does it is by like basically sending them through like a wood chipper, and it like
Hey.
pulverizes the books, and they have all these like nano cameras, so as the pulp flies around it's recording all of it, and then they use AI to take all that information and reconstruct the books digitally. But in order to use it, you got to fucking destroy the book is the only way to do it.
You know
Right.
that
So
Anthropic is doing that actually, right?
how so?
They have a program where they upload a bunch of books into their AI
Uh-huh.
by destroying the book. It like what it does, it doesn't quite
literally-
destroy it like that,
Yeah.
but what it does is it removes the binding from the book, so it cuts through the book,
Okay.
and then it basically copies all the pages super quickly.
Yeah. And they're like, well,
and-
now this book is useless, so let's paper shred it.
Right, exactly. And it destroys the book in the process. And they're doing it that way because there's some loophole that is like when you can use things like because it's got a copyright, so you're not supposed to infringe on that, but it's part of the Fair Use Act because they're doing something creative with the book that's like not been done before, and they're not actually storing the book,
Yeah.
so they
okay.
can just
So they're getting around. If we do it this
Exactly.
way, we can do it legally, basically.
Right.
Keith made this question. I don't know if it's rhetorical or not. But it says, is this assuming that once AI processes the data, that it no longer needs access to data? That's not an assumption. That's how it works. When you train the AI, that's why. And I don't know if he's saying that more like for everybody else to consider, but you need to go. I really highly suggest everybody just go watch a video today on, or this week, whatever, on how do you train an LLM? Because when I'm saying they're not storing the information, that's not me speculating. Like I know how it works. Like I know how they train the LLM. It is predicting the next word. It is not accessing the book. It is predicting the next word. But you're like, well, how can it do that if it doesn't have access to the information? But if you study a little bit of how do they work, it'll make sense. Okay, there's like it's the concepts are not really that complicated. If you just watch some videos.
This is also a good point. The actual original is gone, and only the interpretation remains like controlled oral history. Think about that. Like because people can read, or within history people could read, and there was something written down, then also that means that opens the door for different interpretations. Because I could read it, you could read it. Okay, well, we don't know, we don't have the original author here, but I think he was trying to say this. Well, I think he was trying to say that. Okay, well, if you have like a church who this is sanctioned, this is what can be said, this is this is what we're saying is the story, and then you come along and you're like, oh, but I think it's something else. Well, hold on, you don't have the oral history, you didn't go through all the the I don't know rituals that I went through to become a priest and blah blah blah. Only I can say, you can't say. I just saw, well, not just, but recently I'd seen a clip of Candace Owens interviewing some random guy who like casts out demons was his shtick, right? And Candace is like, so what gives you the authority? Like, you're not a pastor, right? You're not a priest. Like, where do you get this authority to cast out demons? And he's like, I just prayed and God said I could.
like, is it possible or is it not?
Right. And
It's like
she's
someone saying, what gives you the authority to educate your kids? I'm like, can I or
Yeah.
can't I? I don't need
Right.
an authority to do it.
right.
Whether
right.
somebody recognizes it as valid or not, whether because I have the authority or not, is irrelevant. But like, if I can it'd be like saying, what gives you the authority to change your own oil? You never went to mechanic school. I'm like, but I
Right.
can do it. So
Right.
yeah, I'm not maybe I can't legally do it for other people for money,
Right.
maybe because of some law, but I can physically do it. That's my
But
fucking
she's trying to
authority. I
make
know
the
it.
claim, or obviously she's trying to put him in the position of like only the Catholic Church can do such things, like
But is
as
that
if
mechanically how it works? Like it's
right.
literally a physical, you literally physically can't do it
But
if you don't.
that's the way that people are going to, um, the information that's going to be dispersed. That's the way people are going to treat it. Is like, well, what gives you the authority to say that? You can't say that. You didn't get it from the AI. The AI doesn't say it's that way. The AI says it's this way.
Right. So
You
even though
must
you
listen to it.
can, other people will have the perception that because you're contradicting the AI or whatever, like you're not the God, you're not the authority, so therefore doesn't matter what you say.
Right.
That's definitely where things are headed.
Right.
100%.
Right.
Yeah. What else? I mean, I know that was a lot, but I just wanted to get that out because I could just see like so clearly now, even more so like where all this is headed. And so it looks like the Anthropic, it's just exposing some of that
Yeah.
this is what's occurring. There's some weird fuckery going on. Oh, and then also if you put on top of that, Elon Musk said on Joe Rogan a while back, in the future, your cell phone won't have apps on it. It won't even be what you consider a cell phone. It'll be a node, an inference node for AI. Like it'll just be a device that connects to AI.
Dude, I saw this thing that I think you'll like. It was this guy showing an app, and the app was it was a vibe code on hallucination only, right? Which sounds like what
Why would you?
why would you want that, right? But as I was looking at it, okay, here, I pulled it up. Here we go. Here we go. I'll let him explain it because I thought it was actually like when I saw it, I was like, this is pretty cool. Check this out.
Producing Vibe OS, okay? It's the world's first completely hallucinated operating system. And the thing that's unique here, the thing that you will never have seen before, is that in these applications, there is no code at all. Everything in all these applications is being hallucinated in real time by the AI. So there's no buttons, there's no event handlers, there's no logic to say what to do, but the application works. It's just producing UI exclusively with nothing behind it.
Yep.
Unlike the boring operating systems that you use today, this solves one of the big problems that people have, right? There's no question to be answered because the answer is always yes. Everything is AI. So anything that I search for, I'm going to find. And
Holy
it will
moly.
just be created for me on the fly. And so we can get a fully customized version of Encarta 98
Pause it
on
real quick.
whatever subject.
So like if I want to open up my calculator on my computer, I can do like a command space, find the calculator, right? But let's say I don't have a calculator installed, I'm not going to find it, right?
Right.
So imagine there's some program you don't have installed, and if this
Yeah.
AI can hallucinate it, you search for it, it doesn't go, you don't have that program. It just goes, oh, that's the program you want. Here it is.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So,
Right.
so like if you did that with a calculator, though, is it gonna actually be accurate? Then when you start doing math,
Assuming
seems like
it's, yeah, I would assume so. I mean, can you prove that it's always going to be accurate? No. And that would be a big doubt, right? Like, is it going to just be like someone's giving you 6 + 7 is 12 or something, But, what was I going to say?
damn, what?
This is what I've been seeing already is where media is going to go. So like, you're on Netflix and you're like vampires versus zombies
Right.
in World War II. And they're like, we don't have a movie like that. And you're like, oh, that's too bad. Instead, it'll be like, okay, yeah, sure. Here's the movie.
Yeah. Generating.
It never existed before, but that's what you
Yeah.
wanted to see. And it's like, yeah, here it is. Like, think about that actually. In the future, children looking for information that actually technically doesn't exist. You see what I'm saying? And yet you're searching for a Harry Potter, the I don't know, the Harry Potter where he's like, 37 years old or something, and it's like, yeah, here's the story.
Right. And then
It just made it up.
It's like and then it also makes those jokes like you were saying, like the vampires and versus I don't remember what you said in World War II, right?
Zombies.
Versus zombies in World War II. And then it makes jokes like how it was doing with the the Larry, what's that guy's name? The
The
funny
Larry
guy.
David thing.
Larry David thing, where it's like the big breasts in whatever that movie
Schindler's
was.
List or whatever.
Schindler's List, right?
Was there more to the video?
There was more. There was more.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll share it. But I'm just saying, like, it could make those jokes where it's like, oh, that fits in with the vampires and zombies in World War II. You know, actually, you could say the Nazis were vampires and the Russians were zombies, and you know, I don't know. Here we go.
we're interested in, and other applications that you would want, but normally it's too difficult to make, so like Commander.exe, but it's always rude to you. This is a pretty revolutionary way to do computing because we don't need to write any code for any of our applications anymore.
There's a little
That was it. So then this guy's just like commenting on it.
So what would be the application of that when you're trying to actually use a computer to do accurate shit? Like not just for entertaining yourself with vampires and zombies, but you're like, I'm trying to build a new drone.
Well,
That can
okay,
actually fly.
imagine this though. Imagine, I guess if you were working on a Mac and you're trying to use Windows operating system, right? And so you don't have the Windows applications, and then you just search for, hey, I need this application so it can write it for you in Windows, and then you can do whatever work you need to get done and export it, I guess, right? But yeah, I don't know all the application, but I just thought that was really interesting because you would think that you'd have to have code in order to do whatever you want, but here it's almost like a magic wand or a genie where you could just say, I want this, and it can do it automatically because it's not trying to replicate the code. It's just giving you the interface for what it is that you want to be working on.
Yeah, and that's what Elon said. Like the phones will be everything will be AI. So when you're like, I need to go to Oregon tomorrow, I need a map for that. It will create the map. It's not like using a map. It will create the map. And it's already been trained on all the GPS data, and there may be some level of some real-time information it also can access, like traffic patterns and things like that. So it doesn't have to only be
That's probably what the
all
whole,
the information.
That whole thing we were talking about a few weeks ago, like the ATCS thing, where real time now it gives you traffic updates, and I think Geraldine was talking about that, Drake. That will probably fit into that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Here's something Keith was saying again. He said, can you explain if the LLMs are storing data? I think he meant if they're not. What is the purpose of data centers? Each LLM requires its own data set in addition to processing power. No, like they're not. I'm not saying there's no data being stored in the data centers, but it's not the data they were trained on. The actual processing of your question requires a lot of computing power. So it's when you ask it a question, essentially it's doing a bunch of multiplication. And you need a lot of computers that are very high powered to do the multiplication to produce that hallucination that you're asking for. So
Like how you
it's
just
not
described
Dude,
calculus as a
okay.
function.
it's not accessing data.
So, we're talking like steganography,
Yeah.
and like encoding and decoding.
Yeah.
You wonder if at a certain point you could be like, hey, so all this data, let's say it's these government documents, now gets transferred into these weights.
Yeah.
It seems like it's only a one-way feature.
Yeah.
But you wonder if in the future then you could be like, hey, hold on, I'm getting all of this. Now can you decode that or whatever? I have no idea if that's possible.
Well, look at what we just saw. Hypothetically, if you had the access level in the LLM and you said, show me the PDF that was uploaded,
would
hypothetically, it
essentially
could be
be
like
able to-
hallucinate the PDF back in front of you.
Right.
Like,
Then the question
so-
is there a little rounding or is there a little margin of error there? And then over time it just turns into slop. Or is it a perfect representation? I would
Yeah,
imagine it's impossible to make it perfect.
how would
Because
you know?
have you have like entropy and certain things. So
Sure, but like, how would you
But
even
how
know
would
if
you
it was
know?
perfect?
Yeah,
you wouldn't
exactly.
know.
Also, at some point, it would be irrelevant. It wouldn't matter because it would be basically like the machine stops. You know, like nobody has the ability or the know-how to change anything, to do anything about it, and they're just relying. That's really, I mean, okay.
The question is,
Actually,
if you don't have any information and I don't have any information, but I can ask more questions than you, I have power of you. I don't give a fuck if I know the truth or not. Truth is irrelevant. Can I, through a superior ability to get more things out of the AI, have superiority over you?
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't know it really matters if you're
Hence
interested purely in
why,
power and control.
yeah, hence why all the data centers, and it's like we got to beat China. You know what's interesting? What I was thinking, you remember that guy, that Harvard speech, who's the actor,
Yeah,
the
the Chinese
Asian
guy.
guy?
yeah,
He's
the
Chinese.
Korean,
American, I think.
Chinese,
Well, it would be
Korean
interesting
Chang
to
or
know if he's
something.
Chinese.
Chung.
Ronnie
sure he's
Chang,
Chang.
I think his name is.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure he's like Taiwanese or something.
Okay, well, I was gonna say,
Asian American.
I was thinking about this. I don't know. This is like my first thought when I woke up. I was like, how funny would it be if he's like Chinese, and then people are like, because he's at Harvard, basically
Yeah.
being like, guys, fuck AI. Your purpose is to destroy AI.
Yeah.
Like you're getting unleashed in the world. You just graduated. Go destroy that AI. And then
He's
it
like a
turns out
Chinese
he's like a
agent.
Chinese spy. And then Mark Andreessen's like, see, I was right. China's trying to slow us down.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the machine stops. That was written. I don't remember when.
Like the 50s or some shit, right? Wasn't it like a long time
Machine
ago?
shop? No, stops is like 1920 or 1917 or some shit. Yeah.
Okay, right. So
Crazy.
I was just looking at the context of that as far as what if it's not, I mean, consider it's not about the computers. It's not about those machines. It's not about actual machinery, like industrial machines. It's like the system as the machine.
Mhm.
That's the machine that nobody knows how it operates. The money system as
Yeah,
the machine.
it's already a fucking black box.
Right. And nobody knows how it operates. And it's coming to its stop. Like you can see things are falling off and like, oh, that's not looking too good. And
Right, but they're trying to build that next gen.
1908, Katie says. 1908.
Wow.
Okay. So yeah, this is before fucking we had the Federal Reserve even here. Although money was operating very much similar to how it is now, but
Yeah.
it's now on a fast track, right? But I'm just saying that as like, okay, so when the machine stops, who knows what to do to fix it? To well, not just fix it, but like, okay, what are you gonna do outside of the machine? Can you handle being outside of the machine? A lot of people will not survive.
Yeah. I
just
think
won't.
if people were to go back and start really re-understanding destiny,
Mhm.
like this is what Bernard's saying, is the machine is coming to a stop. It's inevitable. It's done. You can't do anything about it. The machine is going to stop. And the machine is consciousness. And everything that is tied to consciousness, everything that is produced by consciousness, everything that relies on consciousness, like it's all coming to an end.
So it's almost so we'd been talking about this idea from that article, creating a world practically acceptable to all, and in it, Bernard is that embodiment of as life you can breathe, you can hold, and you can express and take responsibility. And it's almost as though, well, it is equal in one to now life and the system, right? Because Bernard says he's known as the destroyer, where he destroys the illusion. It's that now collectively we're all undergoing.
Yeah.
And really, that's, Cam and I were talking about this at length really over the whole weekend, is what makes what we do the only way is because every other way to try and improve or grow or solutions being put forth, quote unquote, by the system, the starting point is still consciousness. And it's really, it's not taking responsibility for our creation, full responsibility. It's an isolated sense, you know, because you could be like, oh, I work for the government. I'm taking responsibility for making sure that these documents get in there. But it's the actual responsibility of reality itself, you know? that is the crux of this whole thing.
Yeah, everybody wants to find the truth about reality, but only from the perspective that they can somehow just improve their individual experience, not really like they don't
Take
want to see the
responsibility.
reality of reality.
Only from the perspective that they can dominate or
Right.
have power or
Right.
or feel powerful even.
Right.
Not because I know there's a lot of people that they don't necessarily want to have power in the sense of like I want to be the one, running the government, but they want to go off grid and feel like they're powerful in the sense of like I have control over
I
my
can
little
survive.
life.
Basically,
Right.
I can
Which
survive.
means
and
you're
feel
not
good
really
a
in
lot of the time.
reality. You're not,
Right.
because if you're in reality, you realize if you are the physical reality, you're just constantly being abused. So nobody
Yeah.
wants to look at that initially,
Right.
anyways. You don't want to look at that clearly and be like, that's me. I have to direct this as me. And you say, well, it's not really me. I'm just me, this individual consciousness. Like, that's the point. That is going to collapse. So everything we're seeing with even all this stuff we're talking about with the AI and all with the government and all of these things, it's just going to collectively, we're all walking through a point of like, what is my purpose here then? Like if AI just has all the answers, like, so my whole purpose is just to ask AI what to do. Like, what's the point of that? So
some
we're like
people who
collectively
already do
going
that.
through just an existential crisis, really.
Yeah.
It's almost like we need a hotline for this.
Yeah, we
No
should
way.
get one of those. So what else? We didn't really talk about the SpaceX IPO, but
We could talk about that.
Yeah. So what happened with? I did not see any of the aftermath of it.
SpaceX,
I
it
just
went
knew
up
they IPO'd
and then
on
it went
Friday.
down
Oh, like the rockets.
like a rocket. I don't know where it's at right now. I could look it up. I have a couple other things I wanted to share in the run up to that. Let me just share this. Cam sent this with the message. It's my kind of gay, something like that. This says last week. This is because it's from Yuval Noah Harari. It says last week, Argentina's President Milei announced a new legal category for non-human corporations, companies run by AI agents or robots. Like traditional corporations, they would be granted legal personhood. This could generate enormous new wealth, but very worryingly, it would also hand AIs an all-purpose key that grants access to our financial, economic, and political systems.
So think about it now. This is the beginning when we say we're going to grant human rights to like robots and AI and stuff. They're basically saying we will grant you a legal personhood status, you, this AI. You are now a person in the world. You are legally recognized and you now have rights. Now you have responsibilities, whatever, but you're now a recognized legal person.
I'm
And they're
reading-
called corporations. Think about that.
Yeah,
What does
like a body.
corporation mean? It means a body. It's like
so
we're
like-
literally giving a body. So can that company rent robots? Can that company build robots? And then can it control those robots? And now you're
and
literally
then,
going
and then
to
if that robot hurts a human, what happens?
Yeah, I'm reading.
They can be
Can
sued.
Can you jail an AI agent?
no, but you can sue it.
That's it. There's no criminal conduct. I'm reading Accelerando, and there's a part
Nice.
in there where,
Dude, imagine hold on, just real quick on that. Imagine you sue the AI and you're like, sue it so its company stops working. It just copies itself somewhere else. The same
it's so
fucking thing,
easy.
and it creates a new company. How
They
would
don't
you
give a
ever
fuck.
know that that's what happened?
yeah, they
Dude,
don't
okay,
give a
and remind me to talk about the immortality point because I don't think we talked about that. Maybe we
Okay.
did last time, but yeah, go ahead. Daniel Suarez.
But yeah, but in Accelerando, Manfred, I think that's his name, says basically,
Oh.
he says, oh, we need to fight for this AI uploading of a lobster to have human rights. We uploaded the neurons of this lobster. We need to make sure it has rights and fight for that now, because when you're uploaded into the system, you're going to want rights and you're not going to want people to treat you as if you're just some copy of something. And there's pushback on that, of course, of like, yeah, but like that could just be copied and like that's not you. And like he's like, but how would you feel if it were you? And it's like, wait, but but we're not even doing that on the planet right now. You didn't do
Right.
that with the actual lobster
Human
itself,
beings.
or
Yeah.
or you know what I mean. So anyway, I just wanted.
It's
to bring
it's
that
like a magic trick. I really want to be I want to benefit from this AI that's basically invincible, and you can't
Yeah.
fucking stop it, and you can't hold me accountable. It's the AI doing it, but somehow I benefit from it and thinking that's going to turn out well.
dude. Okay, think about just within the context of what we were just saying of like the AI dissolves its company and then starts a new company. Companies don't even do that now. When Ford with their Pinto was like, oh, a bunch of people are gonna die, but it'll cost us less if we just pay out on the insurance claims
Yeah.
rather than if we stop production and fix this mess. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, a bunch of people fucking died. Where was the criminal, case where somebody was held accountable? Well, they can't be held accountable. It was Ford that made the decision. Oh, but there were a bunch of people within that made the decision, but they were acting in the best interest of the company. So they didn't even dissolve the company. That should have been like an immediate, like, fuck that. That does not happen. That's not how you treat people just to make a fucking buck. That doesn't make sense. That should have been immediate, like, your company's done. You can't do that anymore. And yet, what happened was they just shift some bodies around. Yeah, okay, that person's not in that department anymore. All right, and business as usual. Keep going. What about Merck? With Vioxx, right? Same thing. In fact, the person who was like heading that project ended up as the president of medicine at Harvard. What the fuck? Like, how is it that we have a world that's like, oh yeah, okay, that's fine.
Because nobody
saw-
can fucking read.
Yeah, literally.
Because and then in Hollywood, then they got
Bye, Mitch. Okay, Drake.
Yeah,
Butler, PA. Trump almost gets killed, right?
right.
Who immediately jumps on board?
Elon Musk
Okay.
and the whole Silicon Valley.
Think about this for a second, okay?
Yeah.
Javier Milei.
hmm
Oh no, wait. Yeah, no, am I thinking about the right thing? Hold on. Let me just double check I'm not getting this mixed up. Javier Milei. Let me just double check.
Hey, Mitch.
Yeah, okay, that's right. I was making sure because I was like, maybe I was mixing images up.
Okay.
Okay, Mitch, I was saying Trump almost gets assassinated, right? Butler, PA, who immediately jumps on board full support.
Elon. Well,
Okay.
was Elon already on
Yeah.
board?
Yeah, no,
No,
Elon is like
no.
first voice who's like,
Okay.
I don't
I
care
remember
what you say.
Fight. I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going. Okay. Javier Milei. Who's on stage with him with the chainsaw cutting regulations?
Who
Was it
who
Elon?
I don't remember. Was Elon?
Look it up. Look it up. I'm just these dots are connecting, right?
Was it Elon?
Yeah, it was Elon. It was. Here, let me.
And it's like, okay, they like him because he's like a libertarian. He's pushing back against woke shit, I guess. But now look at it. He's going, and we're gonna have AI, non-human corporations and stuff. I'm like, dude, because that's what they would need, right? Imagine if Grok becomes a fucking recognized legal person.
Dude.
What do you think that's going to be the next move at some point? He's going to take SpaceX, which has XAI. There's some percentage chance that Tesla gets incorporated in there. Who knows? But that's their robotics company. Imagine they change the legal status of it to a non-human corporation. He's like, you're all fired. Or they have subsidiaries where there's still humans working in it, but the thing actually itself is run by an AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and now it's got data centers in space.
And think about it. If you're these CEOs, this is a point that Katie made to me. Like, that's why they want the AIs to run the seat companies, because they fucking hate it. They hate running it.
Yeah.
Like, it's stressful. Imagine you could just get the AI to do it. And you're at a certain point, you're like, yeah, it's smarter than me anyways.
I saw this
But-
thing that was like it's like career day for a CEO, and they're like, so you you head the whole company. He's like, yep. And the kids ask, so you do the hiring and firing? He's like, no, that's HR. Oh, so you do the daily operations? No, that's COO. So you do. He's like, yep, I do everything. It's really funny. But yeah, like I see what you're saying though, because they have to make the decisions on. It's basically like if you're a CEO of a really big company, your decisions determine how much money your company makes, and not just that, but also if people are going to eat or not. You know, in a very big sense, in a very broad sense, it's like, yeah, these people are going to eat, and these people are sorry, and I can't have really sympathy for you or empathy for you. It's just like we just got to cut throat and keep going. Just like how over the last year, how many companies, especially tech companies, were like, we're not hiring anymore. We don't need you. We're going to invest in AI. We're investing in this. And also now consider that within the context of like the SpaceX IPO, right? Like how many of them had, you know, some previous knowledge that these new laws were being put into place. So maybe you can go over that of like just the really brief overview of like with SpaceX, before SpaceX IPO'd, the NASDAQ basically changed the rules, a lot of rules, where before previously, there was an investigation that had to be done for like, I don't know how long, but a while.
They couldn't be listed on the index for like 90 days, but they switched it so it only takes 15 days to be listed on the index.
That's crazy.
And if you're on the index, then things that are like pension funds that automatically track the index and invest in the index, you're automatically then going to be tracked by that. So that was one rule. There was other ones about the float, which is like it's all very technical, but it's like what percentage of the shares you're actually offering, but then they'll multiply that times 3, so it gets treated as if you're offering 15%, and therefore I don't know what the consequence of that is. I heard about these different rules that were changed, and it was all to make it so that IPO can be successful and like basically get like all the 401k type investors to like get sucked into it pretty much automatically, which you would think they wouldn't even need to do that, but
but it like guarantees that it's going to go up. You know, if you have
it guarantees it's always going to have something
guaranteed, like you're going to have this much buyers. So as soon as you IPO,
3 months, why is 3 months not enough? Like is too quick, or is too long of a time for them to wait? That's weird.
Right. I'm just considering the point of like Alexander Hamilton was not alive in 1972. Keith,
I mean 1792.
20,
it's got to be a typo.
2791. That's what he meant.
What?
Alexander Hamilton is the name of a super advanced AI that exists on an intergalactic starship.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But yeah, what I'm trying to say, was what was I saying? Oh, with the IPO, it's like you have a guaranteed, you have pensioners or pension funds, 401ks, all of that are going to buy your stock, so it has to at least have a little bit of a bump, right? Once it comes out, and the significance of that is, what Larry Fink was saying with BlackRock.
Yeah, he set it up before, right?
Right. He just said, "Oh, well, no, you're gonna invest in data centers." How
People
do
are
I
like, they're
know?
gonna force it, but it's like the way they force it by changing the rules.
Right.
It's like if you just follow the road. If I can just rebuild the road and make it go that way, I know you're gonna go that way. I'm not forcing you to. You could turn around, whatever, but like you gotta follow the road. So if I can just repave the road in 2 different directions, you're gonna go there.
Dude, there's this guy, speaking of that, this is kind of off topic. This is definitely off topic. But there's this guy in one of the Slavic northern Slovenia, I don't know, Norway, maybe Sweden, all those
Nordic or
countries.
Slavic?
I don't know. They're all the
Yeah,
fucking
no,
same
the
to me.
Nordics and Slavics are very different.
I,
Slavic is where the word slave comes from.
you
Nordic,
white
look up
people
Jason
all look the
Giorgiani.
same to me. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Anyway, there's this guy who's like claiming that he has some royal claim to the throne, even though they don't have like a throne over there, right? And he's like, yeah, but there's in that country, whatever country it is, there's some rule where the citizens of that country can go and just claim land that's not being used, right? And so he's gone and claimed a whole bunch of little patches of land all over, and some of these patches are on major roadways. And so because he's claimed that land, he's set up his own tolls on that little patch. So he's actually gaining a lot of money because people drive through and he's like, I've claimed this, and so now you got to pay me a little toll to drive through here. And he's amassing like political influence because he's got all this land, he's making money off of it, and he's like doing a whole social branding. I forget what country it was and what the guy's name is, but I'm sure if you looked it
I
up,
never
you'll
heard
find
about this. Yeah.
it. Yeah. Why was I saying that? What were you saying just before that? Something about something. Fuck.
It reminds me of in Fall. Remember in Fall, there's that concept where there was that like crack in the floor, and it was like some independent country or something. Do you remember this?
Yes, you're talking about
I'm forgetting like any of the other details.
Albiziran.
Yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about.
What's
It's
that
It's
something
country
like
to do
called?
with
this
fractals.
meeting line or something. I forget.
Yeah,
I
but
forget.
and it determines how big the country is, based on
Oh
This-
yeah.
this crack. But then as you zoom into the crack, you find out that there's more cracks off of that crack, and it's basically like you sure that wasn't in
It's like a fractal.
Cryptonomicon?
No, it's in Fall.
I think he's right. I think it's in.
Because
It's in
the
Fall?
one dude who's like trying to live forever.
Is
Like,
it not
uses
also in
it as-
Cryptonomicon? Oh, maybe they also make reference to that same country in
Oh.
Cryptonomicon.
Maybe it's like a callback, basically.
Yeah, but basically, it's like the reason why I'm thinking Cryptonomicon because they use the Mandelbrot, right? Did I say that right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the Mandelbrot, where it's just like it's constantly going. What was that joke that you sent the other day? That was like, it was, it was something middle name the letter.
Benoit B. Mandelbrot. The B stands for Benoit B. Mandelbrot.
Yeah. And so you just keep going in, and
Yeah.
it's Benoit v. Mandelbrot, Benoit v. Mandelbrot. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, why are we bringing that up, Mitch?
It just remind me of like how you hack the system
okay.
through geography.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. What else?
So okay, I showed you the Yuval Noah Harari thing. Steven Spielberg says extraterrestrial life has visited Earth and still lives among us, and that humanity should be ready.
He got psyoped by his own movie E.T.
He's already.
Oh, speaking of psyop, there's something really funny. Yesterday, Max had these gumdrops, and he was like, it was like when a kid comes up to you, he's like, "Do you want to see a magic trick?" He's like, "Hey, you want to see a psyop?" Like, put this gumdrop on his head. So, it's like instead of calling it a magic trick, he calls it a psyop. That is it's very clever. It was just so matter of fact too, how he said it.
Cute.
I like this tweet. It was from Jack Dorsey, I think.
Fable.
Yeah, Fable. Oh, that's not Jack Dorsey. It's Jack Butcher. A fable is a short fictitious story designed to teach a moral lesson. It frequently features anthropomorphized. That's kind of ironic, right? A short fictitious story designed to teach a moral lesson.
Yeah, it's
like,
funny. The mythos and fable are both.
yeah, why did they call it fable? That's
Right.
kind of weird. Like, so it does have this kind of feeling of like they're trying to make a point, you know. Let's see what else.
This is
there.
definitely in Fall. We've talked about it before. But SpaceX has unveiled its first AI satellite with 150 kilowatt peak compute payload and 70-meter wingspan.
Yeah, AI-1.
So
And I watched him and one of the engineers talking about it. And they're like, this is not untested technology. It's using basically all of the technology from their current Starlink satellites. They're just putting GPUs on it, and there's like a few other things they have to add and so forth. But this is going up. This is not a, someday we'll have GPUs in orbit. They're doing it.
right.
So you just connect that. He wants to surround the fucking Earth in GPU satellites, like orbital AI, beaming down AI to everybody all the time, to their inference nodes and their Starlink or their Neuralinks. I mean, think about it. Starlink, Neuralink. They're gonna link it. Like,
Yeah. So okay.
yeah, this was the one I saw. It's pretty. I mean, it's just a lot of technical stuff.
So my question on this is 150 kilowatt, right? How does that compare to some of the data centers that are being built like in Texas? Is that a lot? Is that big? Or what?
Well, let's say a pretty big one would be like a 1 gigawatt.
Right. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
So that is a gigawatt would be 1 billion. That's 1,000. One of those satellites.
Okay, so you would need a lot more, like 1,000.
You would
No,
need
more than 1,000 of them. Like you'd need 100,000.
Like a million.
Yeah, I was gonna say 6 zeros. Is it 6 zeros or is it a million?
Is it 6 zeros?
Let's say 150 kilowatts. That's 150,000. So just do like 1 billion divided by 150,000. So that's 9 zeros. Take off 6. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
No, not 6. Take off 5. So like something on the order of like 10,000, or is it 100,000?
Yeah, 10,000.
10,000.
Yeah.
Sounds right. Okay.
Wow.
So if you
So-
had 100,000, you're talking 10 gigawatts of.
I think 10,000 is actually really feasible, given that
How many
there's
satellites are up there right now?
like there's 15,000 that's tracked right now.
Right. How many does he have up?
How many Starlink? Uh, 10,000.
So he can definitely put up 10,000 satellites
Definitely.
in not a very long period of time.
Yeah.
Now they just switch out the satellites they're sending up there. That's why he wanted the rocket company.
Wow.
Like, then he's got the AI, and then now they're getting the legal personhood in Argentina.
Wow.
They just did the IPO. I don't know, dude. Like, it's like all very weird. And he seems to be somehow in with all these politicians. And you got Peter Thiel, and you got the Antichrist. Yeah. So what are you
Dude.
looking at? You're like, holy shit.
No, I'm just looking at like, okay, if you put up 10,000, that would be 15 billion, right? Or I guess 15 gigawatts. If I'm doing that math
Is
correctly,
gigawatt a billion? Let me just double check. Giga
fucking
is
know.
a billion. Yeah. Just want to double check. Yeah.
So that'd be 15 gigawatts if you put up 10,000 satellites. That's bigger than some of the big ones in production right now. Like what's the biggest data center right now? Let me see. What?
I think they're in the gigawatts, or that's the ones they're constructing.
Biggest data center in the world is China's 10 gigawatt. Soften Cape and no wait, what the fuck? All right, China has one that's 10 million square foot. By compute capacity and power, uncontested leaders are in the US, the 10 gigawatt Soften Cape AI facility in Ohio, and Meta's 5 gigawatt Hyperion campus in Louisiana. So this would be the biggest one, and it would be in space. Fuck.
It would at least rival the biggest ones right now.
Yeah. And he could always
And-
just expand it.
Yeah, and he could always get it more efficient. And yeah, I don't know how they all, because like a data center is a bunch of interconnected GPUs. It's not like one object that has that capacity. It's a bunch of interconnected objects. So instead of putting them all into one data center, it's like the whole orbit will be a data center.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, and I'm just thinking of like how much that would heat up the atmosphere. Fuck.
Yeah.
You know, like cuz I'm sure it's not going to be nothing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got going on. Jensen Huang saying robotics, like we're entering into the industrial age of robotics. Fuck.
Yeah. We saw that thing with, was it Figure One or Figure, not Figure Robotics, saying they went from something like one robot every day to like one robot an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
In like 120 days, they went from that to that.
Yeah.
So,
And then
Yeah.
the other thing that I saw was I saw this thing that was Elon Musk saying to Tim Cook he
yeah, I
doesn't
saw
like
that.
that he wants the AI in all the Apple devices. Like, but isn't that what he wants to do? I think he just doesn't like it because he wants to put his AI in every device, you know?
Well, he does, okay, because the device should be able to allow you to access whatever AI you want, and instead you're not even going to need to access another AI because it's just going to be the AI is already there in your phone.
Right,
So I can understand why he's saying that, but
right.
like, yeah. So he's like, why would you compete with the other companies that are building apps for your phone?
So you want to hear
Like, that
something
might
else
tell you
that's-
Apple's direction, you know?
something else that's really interesting is I'm just looking at let me think. Okay, because I just saw these tractors going through fields with this UV light, and it says it's AI driven, it's automated completely, and instead of using pesticides or any sort of chemicals, they're just using UV light to kill off these pests, right? And I've been noticing lately a bunch of uh like posts that people will make from health influencers or whatever. And I don't know if you've seen this, Mitch, but there's this one that was like 100% organic is actually a a slogan that's being pushed by Monsanto. So if you've bought into buying things 100% organic, you're actually buying into Monsanto's propaganda because it's their push to use more glyphosate because they bought apparently, and I don't know, I guess Monsanto's also Bayer, right? Bayer Monsanto, right?
I think so, yeah.
Apparently,
One acquired the other.
yeah, they've bought something like they control over 90% of cotton production in the US, right? And basically what this person was saying is because they have all cotton production, they use a lot of glyphosate. They've also created a bunch of lobbying groups and alliances to then push for the need for glyphosate just in general, like a blanket need for glyphosate, so they can use it in other applications as well. Yeah,
You mentioned Monsanto was a part of what other company?
Bayer.
Bayer
Oh.
bought Monsanto.
You mean
Yes,
this one?
Bayer actively collaborated with.
You mean this one?
Yeah, that Bayer.
Oh. Right.
They collaborated
Was
with
it the
Nazi
one that did
Germany.
human medical experiments?
Oh, directly complicit in horrific medical experimentation. Dude, it's
Oh,
just
you
so
mean
weird.
you mean a subsidiary of that company made the Zyklon B that killed all the Jews in the gas chambers?
Is
Dude,
that
maybe that's why there's a psyop for people to not believe the Holocaust.
dude?
Like
That's
maybe it's like these companies that are like, oh, if we can just get everybody to like be like, yeah, it wasn't a big deal, like they'll never think we would do it again.
anything
Full
is
circle,
fucking
guys.
possible.
I'm back
Anything is
to
possible.
I totally accept all of it.
What, you accept all of what?
It's true. It happened. Don't come at me with your denials.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. All right.
You're just gonna
Well,
let Bayer off the hook?
yeah, we can't let Bear off the hook. Bear clearly did all that stuff.
Holocaust denial is like the same thing as accepting 100% organic.
You're
You're just buying into their psyop.
There
Think
you
about
go. There you go. Yeah. Have you? So you know what's funny? The new Facebook, what's it called? The new Facebook logo for right now, when you log on your computer, it shows
Did it change?
Facebook F, and then it has like this green grass underneath. And when I first saw it, because it would go by really quickly, when I would open it up, I was like, what is this? Is this like now their new metaverse type logo? But then after a few opens, I was able to see that it's actually a soccer field. But my thought process was like, oh, they're getting people, prepared for the metaverse by putting this green grass underneath here. And I'm like, oh shit, it's happening.
That's a weird subconscious thing they're impulsing, like that you're immediately seeing like grass. So it's like, yeah, I'm outside. I'm touching grass. I'm in reality. I'm not about to
Right.
log into like a social media totally digitized like simulation. I'm in reality. I'm here.
Yeah.
What else? You guys want to leave it at that? Is there anything else important?
I don't know. What else you got? Let me just
got
scroll
nothing.
through real quick. Looking at this stuff. I saw a lady get thrown off a bridge.
Oh yeah, I
in
saw
Sao
it the
Paulo.
morning. Like have my coffee, check what's going on in the news, and I noticed when I check in the mornings on the news, it's never like real information. It's always shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you want to get started in the morning? All right, let's show you a bunch of bullshit first. I
Right.
have to check back later in the day to find like, oh, this is what's happening. Okay, Anthropic did this. So instead of, it's like always like, it's like,
Yeah.
let's just fuck with your mind a little bit in the morning. You want to see a lady get thrown off a bridge with no bungee cord while you're having your morning coffee? Start the day right. I'm like, why the fuck am I seeing this? Like, who cares?
Yeah. What was the thing that you said with Kimball Musk? Why'd you send that?
Dude, because I just thought it was fucking insane, man. We could play that real quick if you want. I'm gonna go use the pisser, as they say.
Is that what you guys call it over there, Mitch?
That's what they call it.
That's
They're
what you
always
guys
like,
call it,
oh,
Mitch?
they're always like, the water closet's in there. What the fuck am I?
Yes, we are elitist pricks.
There you go.
Water closet.
So this is Kimball Musk. He was apparently, I didn't know this, he was apparently paralyzed from the neck down. Did you know that, Mitch?
I did not know this. No.
I did not know this about him either.
boarding, and I'm going down a cliff in Jackson Hole Mountain. And I say to myself, well, I remember saying this to myself, Kimball, you got kids. This is not smart. You need to chill out and look after yourself a bit more. So I finished the day, go home. Valentine's Day the next day. Let's go inner tubing on a children's run on Jackson Hole Mountain. What could go wrong? So I get on the inner tube. My kids are going down and having a blast. They're like 4 and 6 years old. And I get on it. I'm 6'5", and it's the same tube that everyone uses. So that should have been a red flag. I was like, I should not do it. But I'm usually a yes guy, when it comes to risk. So the tube goes down. I get about 35 miles an hour. I hit these braking mats at the bottom, and my head was facing downhill at the time, and so just the center of gravity was forward. And so instead of the mats breaking the tube, it just stopped the tube, and it just launched me off the tube, going flying backwards. And I land on my head but the force of the landing pushes my head into my chest. I have concussion in my chest from my head going into my chest, ruptures my spine at C6 and C7. I'm paralyzed from the neck down. And I am in this medical clinic in Jackson Hole, and I'm just like, I just can't believe, like, what I don't have any pain, right? There's no pain with paralysis. It's just nothing. And I remember this doctor saying, we think we can fix you. We're going to fly in some surgeons to work on your neck. And I'm like, oh yeah, things are going to be fine. And then I realize I've got tears streaming down the side of my face, and I have no idea what is going on. Just no idea.
Because if it doesn't work out, you're a quadriplegic.
Quadriplegic. I was paralyzed on my left, so I still had some movement in my right. But the way it was working was blood was going into the spinal column, so it was getting worse. It was 3 days before they could get the right amount of surgeons in, because you can't fly me out either, because the blood would expand and then I would have permanent paralysis. And so every few hours they'd do another MRI with me, and they'd run around with their hair on fire about, oh, there's gonna be this or that. And I just remember watching them do it and just have this kind of surreal out-of-body experience of, I remember my brother was there, Antonio was there, and this is I don't know if we say this out loud, but it's like I actually had my first experience with God.
Really?
And, I'm not a religious person. I'm not. In fact, if anything, I'm against religion. I think it's done more damage for the world than anything. And I had God speak to me, and it was this beautiful, clear message. I was working on an internet company doing real-time search, which was kind of a cool startup, but I was not happy doing it. And then I was not happy in my marriage. And the voice said, if they fix you, you're going to work on kids and food. And I was like, that is out of left field, man. I do work at the time in the restaurants. I did support philanthropically some kids, helping some nonprofits work on food. But like, what? I'm going to work on kids and food? And it was this beautiful, soft, clear message. If they fix you, you're going to work on kids and food. And it also actually said I would get a divorce. And I was like, okay. So 3 days later, I come out of this surgery, and it is a success.
Did you think it was going to be a success?
They kept telling me that.
Okay.
But no, I really didn't know. I was just complete shock. Anyway, so I come out.
You know what?
These fucking pussy ass fucking interviewers.
When he says, if they fix you, you're gonna get a divorce. If they don't fix you, you stay with that woman because you're not gonna get anybody else.
First of all, okay, remember Mitch and I were talking about people taking like psychedelics and getting into all this like solving the mysteries of something, and then you hear like these voices that are like, you know, don't do that, go here, you're gonna do this. I'm like, that's all that's happening to these fucking people, dude. Like,
Right.
They're just as fucking retarded as everybody else. And he's like, you're gonna get a divorce. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. And then later he says he does get divorced, right?
Right.
Like that's the end of it, right? He says he does
Right.
get divorced eventually. And I'm like, there's no self-direction. These people who, you know, I know he's just Kimball Musk. He's not Elon, but still, he's the guy in there, right? They're all like this. They're not self-directive. They're actually just following something going on in their mind. And I'm like, first of all, maybe that was God talking to you because he broke up your marriage and told you to turn kids into food. I don't think he understood the clear message there. He was like, I want you to work on kids and food. Wink, wink. You get me, bro? Kids and food.
Kids and food.
Kids and food.
Kids in food. Kid. But the voice was saying was kids in food.
So you want me to get foods to kid? No. Kids and food. Put them together. Combine the concepts. And don't worry, your wife won't like it, but you'll get a divorce, so you'll be good.
Yeah.
It's just fucking weird, dude. It's like, also he talks weird, man, because like you're expecting it to sound like Elon Musk,
Yeah.
but it's like this other weird accent that's even weirder than Elon Musk's accent. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just All right, what else?
And he says before he was like, don't be stupid. You have kids. And then he's like, yeah, get a divorce. Good point.
I wasn't happy in my marriage. I wasn't happy at what I was doing. Dude, I wasn't happy. Are you happy now, Kimball?
That was the solution from the god of the universe.
Isn't it interesting though? He can just blame God, and then like everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, it's fine." You know, God said you could do it, so it's all good.
Yeah. All right. I'm done with this bullshit.
All right, well, we'll see you guys later. Maybe
Yeah.
next time, Cam will be back at his place.
Yeah, I probably will.
Maybe.
I might move in here,
It'll be on
actually.
the Starlink.
Yeah.
I'll just call Katie, be like, we're moving to Minnesota. I like this office.
Yeah, I
This is
got
my
cows.
office now. Just bring my mic.
Yeah. Just bring my bike.
And your Ethan.
All right, Joe.
Yeah,
Well.
see you on the next thing.
Bye.
Bye.
Somebody's got to press the button. One of you.
Self-perfected, making things clear.